views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network or anyone affiliated. There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Welcome to the Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
This is for all readers have.
Oh yeah, oh baby. Can you dig it? Fantastic. This is the Wolfman. And this is Monster Castle Paranormal Radio, yeah. Can you dig it?
Yes, master, I can dig it.
Oh, how you doing, Igor?
Pretty good.
Who's here with us? We got, oh, wow. We got a full house. All right. Liana, are you here?
Yes, I am.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic, baby. Right on. And we have, I'm not sure if Dennis is here or...
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, right on. How are you doing, buddy?
All right, man.
So what have you guys been up to? Checking out the Saturn rings there? They're all disappearing, I heard. Saturn's rings.
Well, apparently they made a picture of a big donut. It's like polar.
Big donut.
Yeah. There's a war going on the moon, too. That's what Bruce sees he's got all kinds of stuff blowing up and little things flying around and shooting at each other and explosions and shit right on the moon from his independent observatory.
Right.
Yeah, and then the sun flipped its poles a couple of months ago, and now Mars has flipped its poles.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God!
I think Earth flipped its flat Earth head.
Oh no!
Everybody fell off.
Everything's going wrong in our solar system.
Everything's all fucking bobulated.
Oh,
sorry.
No. Okay. Have we got the Awakening Man? Are you here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wow. All right. And Ronny Dawson, are you here, sir?
That's me.
All right, yeah. Come on down. All right. So we got I think Eric, I'm going to let you take over now. I think you had some questions for Ronnie. Ronny, wait a minute. Maybe I should introduce you guys better. People might not know who you are. So Eric, the Awakening.
If I'm going to talk to Ronnie, I got to get straightened up here.
All right, Eric's the Awakening Man on Twitter. at Awakening Man, and he travels all over the country and the U.S. and checks out all strange and paranormal things. He goes to all kinds of conferences, gets in touch with all kinds of strange people. He's got a lot of stories to tell. I haven't talked to him for a while. And Ronnie is the UFO guy that was abducted, and actually he was attacked by goblin-like entities, or some kind of goblin-like UFOs. He was on our show before. He was shining a laser up, and they came down and attacked him in his bedroom, basically. Tore a hole through the floor, and yeah, he's the Goblin Man. He's also the one, he's the alien shagger. Yeah, he had sex with a feline humanoid.
All
right, yeah. So this.
Okay, I got a question for Ronnie. Was that some good pussy, Ronnie?
It was awkward. It was an awkward situation.
Oh my God, that would have been awkward for me. I would have just lifted the tail and
If you got an STD from something like that, would it be like cat scratch fever? Or...
Yeah, baby, cat scratch fever.
Actually, I got a story to tell you real quick, Wolfman. You guys, this is kind of gross, but it's all along the lines of what we're talking about here. But some fucking dude in Riverside, California, some meth head, somebody called 911 or whatever because there was a cat screaming inside the house, and they broke in, and this is a true story. They found the guy having sex with a cat, and he was a mether.
Oh,
wow.
So,
Oh, wow.
That's freaky shit going on.
Yeah,
it's weird,
I know somebody that used to do it with a chicken, but
Yeah,
That's
chicken.
even
I thought a
freakier.
chicken was yeah. So now they're picking up fucking feral cats. What the fuck is
yeah,
going on?
yeah. That's just weird.
That's like fucking bath salts, fucking shit, man. Fuck the meth. That's bath salts.
That is, you're right.
Man,
That's totally bath salt right there.
Yeah, really.
That's fucking fucked up.
Anyway, let's move on to something more positive.
All right.
It's totally funny, though.
Yeah. I wasn't even gonna play a laughing sound for that, and that's more sad than funny. But
Yeah.
that's weird,
whatever
man.
it is,
The
People
oddities
do
of
it, man.
life.
People do it. Fuck. What are you gonna do?
Maybe he decided he wanted to be like a dolphin.
Well, maybe
Maybe.
he heard Ronnie's story and he was jealous and wanted to try the best thing, the
Yeah.
closest thing he could try.
Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie, I got a question for you. There's
Okay,
this guy,
shoot.
I have to look up his name, but I can see his book. I can visualize. Probably around 7 now. But he actually wrote books about the visitations that he got, and he was having sex with these beings. They weren't feline looking, though. There was different kind of alien type beings, and he wrote. Have you ever heard that story? Are you familiar with this story? This other guy that talks about this and actually wrote books about it.
No, I've never heard of him. So,
I think I've heard the guy. I can't picture his. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, he was from. Yeah, I'd heard that story, and he draws pictures, right, of the aliens.
Yes,
tells
back.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looked like a mantis being in the background, kind of one of them.
yeah. That's one ugly ass alien that he's nailing there.
That's a fact, Jack, right there.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh man, she must have put the mind whammy on him, man, to think that was going to be good for him.
Yeah, and the story just gets even wilder. Yeah, they had him like ejaculating in a bowl and some other stuff, man.
Oh God. So, was your experience? Was that a one-time deal, or have they been back and I mean, was it so good for them that they came back for more? Or I don't remember what you told me. I know I heard about it though.
Well, it really wasn't a romantic interlude at all. It was they were just wanting it. They kept bugging me for a genetic sample, and I didn't know how they intended to get it. And I asked her, I said, well, how do you intend to get it? Because I was willing to give them whatever the hell they wanted any way they wanted to get it. And she said, well, my associate would like for you just to have sex with her if you wouldn't mind. And I'm going, I can't believe I just heard that, you know. And it was like, because I just now come to, you know, standing face to face with an alien. First, I thought they were lying, and then once you have to realize that what the whole situation was, you know, I've been seeing these UFOs and stuff for years. They've been scaring the hell out of me. But when they finally made contact with me, they pulled me out of my sleeping body. It was early one morning, actually, not even at night. And they pulled me out of my sleeping body, and I was standing there, I thought beside the bed, but I was actually standing in the bed up to my knees. And they told me that they were beings from another world, and that they were sorry for disturbing my sleep, but they needed to have a conversation with me. And I thought, I don't know who these women are, but they're completely crazy. And then I seen my body sleeping in the bed, and I was sitting there talking to these two women. And once I got a little bit closer and could look in their face, I could see that they weren't human, because one had huge eyes. She had blue skin, and she was about 6'6" at least. And she had this like ruby glued to her cheek, huge eyes. And the other one, I mean, she was really built. She had this big hair like a rock star. And then you could see these ears sticking through the hair. And then her nose and mouth, it looked just like a woman. She looked just like a woman, but then when it come down to her tip of her nose and her mouth, it came like to like a cat's mouth. Other than that, she was completely humanoid. And then I realized, oh shit, these girls aren't shitting me. They're not local girls, man. These gals are for somewhere else, you know. But anyway, we had this conversation and stuff, and they were bugging me about a genetic sample, and then during the conversation, you know, she said, well, my friend would just want to know if you would just like to have sex with her, because that's the way she could get the sample. And first of all, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And then the thing was, the room was kind of lit because it was early in the morning, and my body was sitting there sleeping in the bed, and my wife had kept walking to the bathroom in the bedroom, and I could see her perfectly clear. I could see her clear as day, and she stopped and hesitated and was looking our way. And the one alien freaked out and it said to the other one, said, "Can't you see us?" And the other one said, "No, she can't hear or see us." And then she told the other one, she goes, "She's looking at him," and she pointed at my body sleeping in the bed. And I talked to my wife later, and she goes, "Yeah, when I'm coming back from the bathroom and you're sleeping late in the morning sometimes when I'm working nights," she said, I just stopped because I had some sleep apnea, and she stopped, make sure I was breathing. No. And so she paused, and she looked, and she seen that I was breathing okay, so she headed on out. But I could see her walk through that room perfectly clear, you know. And so, you know, it kind of blew me away that she wanted me to just have sex with her, you know, in this fairly well-lit room that my wife is walking back and forth through, which is an awkward situation at best, you know. It's like, and the other one said, "Well, I'll step out," you know. And then she said, "Do you think I'm pretty? You think I'm pretty as your wife?" She said, "I've been watching you." And she said, I want you to make me feel like she feels." So she was kind of like idolizing the fact that during the sex she was enjoying it or whatever, you know. So, and then she jumped up on the bed in the same position me and my wife frequent. And I'm going, oh shit, this old gal's been watching us, you know. And where are they watching us from? They're in complete stealth. I mean, they can hear you, they can see you, and they can move through solid matter, and they can see everything that we do and hear everything that we say. And there's no hiding from them. And I'm sure they've been in Area 51, they've been in the White House, and they could be standing right next to you right now, and you wouldn't know it.
So that's like fourth dimensional sort of thing.
Well, she
do they not phase if they're fourth dimensional or four? Yeah,
or is it fifth? Or what would you say?
No, No, I don't think the fifth dimension does that.
Well, they said this was a place that we would meet, that people of Earth would meet their people, would be in this place, right, because it's safe for physical harm.
I'm following you. Yeah.
It's more like an alternate reality then, like a different dimension.
I refer them to as being shapeshifters. They can manipulate energy into physical energy, right? Like, you know, atoms and shit.
I think it's in a parallel universe. They're in a parallel universe.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, parallel
this is the
universe.
place to get to it from.
Yeah. Yeah, the veil, the veil's been broken a long time ago, right? And just some people are affected by it more. But yeah, I find this interesting.
But anyway, she jumped up on the bed in the same position me and my wife frequent, and she said, "I want you to make me feel like she does." And the thing was, she was on her bed, she was on the bed on her hands and knees, and you have to realize that in this place, you could either sit on the bed or you could wade through the bed, if you can understand that. It's like you have mass, but you don't have so much mass that you can't move through solid matter. I know it's hard to wrap your head around, but that's the way it is. You can either sit on the bed or you can walk through the bed. And anyway, she jumped up on this bed, and she said, "I want you to make me feel like she feels." And then she turned and looked at me, but the way she turned, they have way more movement in their back than a human being does. And it looked kind of creepy the way she was bending back looking at me while her butt was facing away, So, and I was kind of thinking to myself, man, I wish you wouldn't look at me like that because it's kind of creepy. It's almost scary looking, It's almost like she was a leopard. It was almost like she was a leopard looking back at me.
Yeah, but don't you take it as a dream though, being right? But okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
that's astral. See, that's astral. That's OBEs, right? Out of body experience. Right.
Yeah.
Astral travel.
Well, see, I didn't want to say anything because even with the UFO pictures and stuff like that, I've been dealing with skeptics for so long, man. I know that you better make damn sure that this really happened before you go telling anyone about it.
Yeah. No, hey, listen, man. I've experienced a lot of stuff too, right? So I know where you're coming from. It's good, man. Yeah,
so I didn't want to say anything to anyone until I really knew for sure that this wasn't just a damn dream. And if it was a dream, I damn sure wasn't going to say anything to anyone about it.
I gotta ask you a question. Do you lucid dream? Lucid dream lucidly?
No, nothing like this.
Nothing. Yeah?
No, man. Usually I'm so tired, I just go to sleep and I wake up and I don't really
remember
things,
And I don't remember nothing.
I don't do the spiritual out of body travels. Right.
No, just a question. Thank you.
How are you doing, sir? This is Bart Bell. I would like to ask you a question too. Do you have wet dreams about the alien?
No, it's been decades since I had a dream.
That's not bad. I had one last week, man. It was awesome.
The last wet dream I had, I spilled a beer in the bed. Yeah, that was the last.
Are you sure it was a beer?
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, did you write that down in your dream?
Because I thought, I pissed the bed. I've never pissed the bed before.
It could have been ectoplasm, man.
I'm going,
got a little bit of juicy, man. You should have got a little wetness on you. A little bit of ectoplasm juiciness on you.
Yeah.
Little ether.
Yeah, a little ether. Sorry, buddy. That's okay.
This is how I knew it wasn't a dream, because I was sitting here running this thing through my mind, deciding whether I was going to tell anybody about it or not, and I'm thinking over in my head, and I'm thinking about the pictures. There's 2 pictures on the wall in my bedroom, and at one point during this visitation, I asked him. I said, "I want to see where you come from," because ain't that the main question that we should ask aliens if we do encounter one? How did you get here? Yep. Right? Anybody, any kind of a mind is gonna ask them, "How did you get here?" Because they will tell us, "How did we get there?" And so I asked him, I said, "How did you get? How did you get here?" And she goes, "Well, we went through this. It's like a Stargate, is right." She said, "I said, I want to see where you came from." I said, "Is it possible that you can show me where you came from?" She goes, "Yeah, you have to move through this wall, walk right through this wall." And I'm going, "Okay." She said, "Look now, we already talked. You can move through solid matter," and they'd already showed me that I can. At one point, she had me put my hand on the other one's face and push, and I might push my hand into her head, and I could feel it's like her brains inside her skull.
Yeah.
And it felt wet, but my hand wasn't wet. You know what I'm saying? I felt wetness.
I'm following you, man.
Yeah. And anyway, so they had me walk through this wall, right? So and it's almost like they were impatient, but you have to realize that when I had to walk through this, there's a picture on the wall, right? And my face hit this picture, and it's got glass on it. And it was really creepy moving through the glass because I was afraid the glass was going to break and cut my face. So I was like, I'm really, taking this slow. And she was like, "You can just go ahead, just go." It was like they were pressed for time, and I'm taking up their time. Like, go, just go. You'll be all right. Just go. And so I start pushing against this glass with my face, and my face starts instead of the glass breaking, I feel like it's going to shatter and cut my face. And so I'm going slow. But as I push through it, I could feel the glass coming through my face. I could feel the sheetrock in the wall passing through my stomach. And like I said, it didn't hurt, but it felt creepy as shit. Because my whole life, my stomach has known what it's felt like to have intestines in it. Now, for the first time ever, I'm feeling my intestines in my stomach, and I'm feeling sheetrock passing through my intestinal walls as I'm moving through this damn wall, and my face is going through this glass. And so I'm sitting there, thinking of this, and I'm going, you know what? The picture right beside my bed, there's two pictures hanging on the wall. One of them I know for a fact it doesn't have a glass on it, and the other one is almost like identical to it. And I thought to myself, oh my God, okay, right. That had to have been a dream because there's not a glass on that picture. So I come home, and I go into the bedroom, and I see the one picture, and sure enough, I was right. It didn't have a glass on it. Okay, now the one I walked through, I'm thinking there's no glass on it either because these pictures are not the same, but they're almost identical. And I looked at the other one, and guess what? It's got a glass on it. And guess what? It hits me right where my face is. And then when I went through that wall, I felt there's a stud inside the wall that went through my right shoulder because I remember when I was going through the sheetrock, I went to an area of the sheetrock where there was a stud in the wall, and it passed through my right shoulder. I got a stud detector, and I moved it along underneath the picture, and sure enough, right there where my right shoulder would hit is a stud in the wall.
Well, if I was walking through a wall, there would have been two studs in the wall.
So I'm pretty sure that, it's a real deal. And they told me, they said, right before when he come down to leave, I told him, I said, I'm not going to remember any of this. And they said, you'll remember this because this is not a dream. You're not in a dream state. This is an alternate reality. And you'll remember everything we've done and everything we've said. And you can tell the people of your world that whenever we meet, they will remember everything we talk about as well. Because this is the alternate reality, not a dream state.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
I understand what you're saying, man. I understand.
And the odd thing was, and when the old gal, she wanted to have sex with me, and I'm like, my wife is just walking through that room, and in fact, she yelled at my wife. She goes, she can't hear or see us. And she yelled at her. She said, hey, ma'am, is it okay if I have sex with your husband? And my wife just walked right by her, and I know my wife would have slapped the hell out of her if it would have been any other circumstances, And my wife walked right through the room, and I'm going, man, this is odd. I'm trying to have sex with this alien who's dogged up on the bed, and and the circumstances are less than perfect. And plus, he's got this big old like a lion's tail that's whipping in the air. And the thing wraps around my back of my shoulder, and I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty cool, And at one point, and then it starts flickering and hit me in the face, man. So I have to grab this thing, unwrap it around the back of my shoulder, and pin it on her hip. And I'm thinking, let's just get this over with so I can move on, man. I'm going to give you what you want, and just get it over with because my wife is walking through the room. This is not the perfect sexual encounter, and now this old gal, I mean, she was beautiful if she wouldn't have had a cat's mouth and nose. Other than that, she was humanoid and built. And she had this skin that was it was almost like microfiber skin, and she had these stripes, more like a zebra stripe. They were black, and they wrapped around her side. It come to a point, and they were perfectly symmetrical. And I thought, wow, it's amazing looking. I mean, she's amazing looking with her clothes off. Even with the tail and everything.
Ronnie,
damn, it's almost like a fancy, I don't know, Las Vegas costume or something like that.
I got a quick question, Ronnie.
Okay.
Did you ever see, or were you aware of any male species that were part of this alien group?
I've just seen the females, but they told me that both of them, they were wearing clothing. They've been watching this for a while, and they've fallen in love with some of our clothing. Yoga pants. One was wearing yoga pants and an exercise shirt, and the other one was wearing designer blue jeans and a white blouse. And they said these are we're wearing our clothing items that we're wearing to make you feel more comfortable, and these are items made out of materials from our world. She said, but they had ornamental dress wear that they wore during certain ceremonies and stuff on their world. But when they come and seen our world and seen our clothing and stuff, they kind of fell in love with some of the designs and the one, she goes, she said yoga pants, and she rubbed on her knees, and then she made this face and said, so soft. I'm like, oh my God. And the other one, had this blouse on and these jeans, and that was what the leopard woman was wearing. And she flipped that stuff off, and she jumped, and she was naked, and she put my hand on her breast, and her breast she had like a woman's breast on the end, but it went from like felt like fine fur to just regular flesh right before it got to the nipple, and the nipple was almost looked like a regular woman's nipple, and it was really weird. And then she jumped up on the bed and she said, "Do you think I'm as pretty as your wife? I want you to make me feel like she feels." And then she assumed the sexual position that we frequented a lot. And I was like, "Oh shit, these guys have been watching us up close and personal, man." And I ain't so sure that they're not still watching, because me and my wife were in the bedroom the other night, and my wife she said, "I swear, I just saw something over there looking at me." She was dogged up on top of the bed just like we were doing that night, and my wife said, "I was so creeped the fuck out because I swore I seen somebody watching me over there in about the same area."
Well, she already knows the story, though, right? It's not a secret, I thought, with her. Or is it?
No, at first I was kind of, I didn't really want to tell her, because I didn't know how she'd take it, and so, but I, secrets are poison to this.
Yeah,
but how
can't keep
And
that secret.
I don't like secrets. I despise secrets. I hate keeping secrets.
And you don't like
All right,
liars.
so how long ago did your wife know about this?
I told her it was like 2 days. It was like the day after this
All right,
happened.
but how long ago was that, though? You had this experience?
August 2017.
Okay, for these, there's people in the chat room that just joined us. This is Ronny Dawson. He's a UFO legend. So if you haven't heard about it, I don't know what to say. He's had sex with a feline humanoid alien in a parallel
reptilian shapeshifter.
in a parallel universe, sort of. That's what he's talking about. He's also been attacked by goblin-like UFOs in his bedroom, and they tore through the floor, and you had to fix the house after that and everything.
Yeah. That was almost that happened before this did, and I was kind of famous for that encounter, and I call it the Alien Home Invasion Survivor. And I'd done a lot of shows and stuff like that on Beyond Reality Radio and stuff like that. And I'm fixing to do another show on Beyond Reality Radio, it's April 18th. I'm going to be on there again, and they haven't heard the new part of the story. So, but it's but the thing is, what happened? These are part of the same guys. This is a group of aliens from this parallel universe, and that are working together as a group. And I mean, they're people from several worlds. It's almost like
they're not. Okay, sorry to interrupt, but they're not Palladians, not Arcturians. They're not Syrians.
I have no idea where they came from. They never told me their name. They never told me the name of their star system. They showed their star system. When I walked through that wall, I was floating in outer space, looking at an alien planet. This ugly rocky moon went floating by, and then I seen another one. I thought, and I was taking all this shit in because I was going, "This is important, man. I really need to get it. I really want to take everything in." I'm doing a slow forward roll in the outer space. I didn't need to breathe. I didn't feel any cold like you would in outer space. Your ass would be freezing off. You'd be turning into a block of ice.
Yeah, but isn't that separation of consciousness? You're even
It is the top of the hour, everybody. We'll be right back.
Your family, let us help you. We are the Anonymous Alcoholic Group. But don't take my advice. Hear it straight from one of our members.
Anonymous.
I was an alcoholic for years and years. And they helped me because They took me away from my family where I can't hurt anyone and I cannot drive. And I could just get drunk in that drunken community. And we didn't hurt anybody. And I still live there in that drunken community, but we don't hurt anyone anymore. And nobody knows who you are. So if you want to join, then come on in, and we can all be anonymous alcoholics.
Please call 555-6969. Anytime, always. We're here to help. The number again is 555-6969.
Anonymous
Oh, and we are back. See, I got my. How do you like that?
There's a couple questions. You might want to check your chat room because there's a couple questions that I was kind of wanted to ask Donnie.
Okay, but also I think it's Eric that wanted to ask questions. That's the whole show was about that, and he hasn't even had a chance yet.
Sorry, that's all good. Actually, I've heard Ronnie's story before, and here's what I like. I mean, this is how I feel about Ronnie. Is like some of these people they've told these stories for a long time, and Ronnie tells it the same every time. So that indicates to me two things: either he's like the world's greatest liar, or this really happened and it's embedded in his consciousness. So, and Deet in the chat room says that cat people are real.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that have talked about these cat people. Yeah, and hey. Thanks for coming, all the newcomers in the Spreaker chat room. It's nice to see some new faces in there. Down to Earth ET, and Snarky, she's back. Snarky of Oz, and we got what is here? It's quite a
Gigi Rabbit.
Gigi Rabbit's here, and then there's Idea Petri Dish. That's a new one.
What? Gigi's here?
Yeah, IDP is he's a G status.
There was somebody else too. Anyways, go ahead, guys. Oh yeah, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Is that Fox?
No,
not sure who that is. Anyways, new people I don't recognize in there. I won't research you right now, but we'll see if you behave yourself. And there's the Reperception podcast. So that's cool, man. And thanks everybody for coming, and let's have some fun.
Yeah. That.
All right, Ronnie's stories are quite cool, and yeah, I'm sure that people are going to call in. So yeah, I got an American call-in number and a Canadian call-in number, and we'll open up those lines in a little bit. But
okay, I want to go back to the goblin story because actually I didn't even know that happened. I just knew about the cat lady having sex with Ronnie. I never heard the goblin story. Can you kind of summarize that one? That was your first experience, Ronnie?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of UFO craft, and I mean, I seen lights there for a while. Then all of a sudden, I started seeing UFO craft, and I asked a friend of mine. I had an idea for a scientific experiment we could do try to figure out something about the craft's propulsion system, where we were going to shoot a high-powered laser at this UFO, and we were going to observe the laser, and I was hoping that I could record it on video bending. If they bend in time and space, my thinking was that you would see the laser bend, or it would appear to bend. And anyway, I wanted to record that, and I thought that would be something rare that nobody's ever done before. And I had seen two craft in like 7 days, and I got this buddy of mine, Alan Ostrasil, to help me record this thing. So he had the camera with him, I had the laser with me, and I didn't think we were going to see anything. Then all of a sudden, this big old 4-light craft just came up about 200 yards away from us, and this Alan guy, my buddy, he seen it. He said, "Look, there it is," and I said, "Oh shit, that's it, man." And now I knew I was fixing to fire the laser at this thing, and I didn't know how they would take it. You know, I thought maybe we might be burn up piles of ash laying on the ground if they misconstrue what this laser is supposed to do. So I fired that laser at that thing, and I was wondering if they were going to fire back. and it was a scary son of a bitch firing this laser at this damn UFO. I mean, it's scary seeing a UFO, but when you're firing a laser at this damn thing, and if they fire their laser back, there's going to be nothing left of us. And I'm going, oh man, we're really rolling the dice here. I knew it was really dangerous.
Ronnie, let me interrupt. Were you having drinks that evening, or was it some of that wacky weed, or are you straight up conscious while you're doing this? I mean, what the fuck was on your mind?
Actually, I used to be an alcoholic. I quit drinking in 2001, and I've been sober now. I've been sober now for 17 years. And so I was stone cold sober since 2001, and this happened in 2010. So yeah, I was about 9 years sober. And now my buddy, he was having some drinks, but I wasn't. Yeah.
And you filmed that. I remember. Wasn't that on YouTube, or is it still on YouTube? Because I remember going and looking at pictures and film of this. But I remember I did hear you talk about this a couple of years ago, right? You were on YouTube with that, or no?
I didn't. At this point, I hadn't. MUFON. I've been finding so many reports of MUFON. They're saying you got to get us some pictures. You got to get us some pictures. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But it was even every opportunity I'd had. It was like I'd see the lights, I'd see the crafts, and as soon as I pull my device up from my camera or my smartphone or whatever I was trying to get a picture of them with, they would blink out. It was almost like I was watching them, but they were watching me back. And it was frustrating as hell trying to get some evidence of this. We pulled that laser test off, and I fired that laser around that thing. I didn't get the beam deviation that I was hoping to get, and I shined the damn laser on the craft itself, and it's almost like it absorbed the beam. It didn't reflect off. I couldn't get a good idea of what the body of the craft looked like. Mainly what we seen was like 4 big old lights that came on, and they were the same kind of lights I'd been seeing. That's got the whitish blue tint to them, and they're not like spotlights beaming out, but it's like a opening in a portal opening in the craft, and there's a light inside that illuminates, just like I've seen every time. And I fired that laser in that thing, and I looked over at my buddies, and I was glad that they didn't shoot their laser back. And I looked over and I said, I hope you're catching this. And he was standing there gawking at this thing because he had never seen a UFO. He had never seen a UFO before. And he was standing there just gawking at this damn thing. And the camera is literally 3 feet away from him. And I'm like, dude, why ain't you recording this? My God, man. And he goes, God, I've never seen anything like that. So I'm like, son of a bitch. You should have had this whole thing on tape, And so he grabs the camera and he's trying to get it up and running, and I'm over trying to help him, and all of a sudden this thing just blinks out, and I'm like, damn it, we missed the opportunity to record this, and but I think it must have pissed him off or something. I don't know, because the next night was the night of the alien home invasion. They paid me a little visit at my house. I worked that day. I come home. I have a cat in my house he's declawed, but I come home and my cat is nowhere around. I'm like, where the hell is my cat? Well, we have a third bathroom in there, and I go in that third bathroom. There's a hole in the floor. Automatically, I assume that my damn cat somehow or another has chewed a hole in the floor, even though this is a pretty good sized hole. And I'm going, how the hell did he make a hole in the damn floor like that? So I was pretty pissed off. First, that he had chewed a hole in the floor. Second of all, that he wasn't in the house. And it occurred to me that maybe something else made the hole. And so I went. I had to move the blocks, and when I went to where the blocks and stuff, it was like something had like pulled them out, like something had access underneath the house, and I thought maybe the cat was out. But when I looked in there and started calling his name, I could hear him meowing, and then he came to me through the hole like he was anxious to get the hell out from under there. And I caught him, and I put the blocks back up, went in, I got some tin off the roof. It's like 30-year tin, roofing tin. That's some stout stuff. Anyway, I got my drill, and I screwed some pieces of it down. I bolted it to the floor where the cat couldn't get back through the hole. And I was pissed off that this damn cat had made this damn hole. So it's about 9 o'clock at night, and I'm going to bed, right? And so I lay down. cat there in the house.
You shot your cat.
Should be. No, he's still there in the house. So I lay down in bed. I lay down in bed, and I leave enough lights on in my house that I can see to get up and go to the icebox. I can see to get up and go to the bathroom. So I've got dim lights all around my house. My house isn't totally dark whenever I go to sleep because I like to get up during the night and get a drink, and I don't want to fall over everything. And there's a light over by the computer desk. There's quite a bit of light on it in my house at night when I sleep. And anyways, I lay down in that bed, and then all of a sudden I hear something in the kitchen breaking and shit, and dishes being moved around and stuff. And I'm going, what in the hell? And I'm thinking, this damn cat is really on my nerves today, man. So I try to get up out of the bed to go see what the hell he's into. And I realize I'm pinned in this freaking bed, man. I mean, and I can't imagine why I can't get out of this damn bed. It's like it's almost like
sleep
holding me.
Paralysis or something?
No, I mean I hadn't even had time to go to sleep. I just laid down, and anyway, I'm trying to get up and I can't get up. And then I look, and I hear dishes and cabinets and shit opening in the kitchen, and I look through the opening of the door and I see the cat, and he's looking very concerned back towards the kitchen. And then all of a sudden he runs in there and jumps in bed with me, and I still hear sounds in the kitchen. I still can't get up. What the hell?
All these sound effects are actually...
Maybe it was Igor.
Igor, yeah, it's fucking Igor. It's fucking controlling Gertrude.
He's jealous, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm hearing all this activity going on. The cat's jumped in the bed with me. But right now I'm wide awake and I still can't I can't figure out why the hell I can't get up. Am I having a heart attack? What the frick is going on here? Because the cat can move fine. The cat's moving all over the bed, but yet I'm pinned in it. And so then all of a sudden I see something streak by the bedroom door opening. I seen something streak by. I mean, fast, anything you could imagine. Something faster than anything that I've ever seen. I mean, this thing jetted by the door, and I'm thinking, whatever these son of bitches are, fast. And I'm thinking, I don't know what the hell it is, but I can't figure out why I'm pinned in this freaking bed. And every time, the harder you fight it, the more it hurts to try to break loose. I mean, every time you try to move, it's like it uses enough force to keep you pinned. When you're not fighting it, you can lay in bed and you feel like there's nothing wrong with you. But as soon as you try to get up, all of a sudden this force hits you and holds you in place. And the harder you fight it, I fought it really hard, like see if I could break free or whatever. And it hit me with enough force this time that I felt it literally messed with my heartbeat. It messed with my breathing.
Yep.
It felt like it would have killed me. If you put enough force forward to break free from it, it would probably kill you. You'd probably die because it really hurt when I tried to fight free from it. Now, when I used all my force to try to get out of that bed, it's almost like I almost had a heart attack because of what it did to me. And I thought, well, shit, I'm stuck in this freaking bed. And now I see another one streak by the door, and then I seen it streak back. And then I seen it run across the wall. Now it's getting weird because whatever this son of a bitch is, I'm thinking in my eyes, it's a squirrel, it's a raccoon. What the hell is it? But now I seen it run across a vertical wall, and I'm thinking, oh shit, this is creepy. This is not something normal. This is something paranormal. And this thing streaked across the damn wall like gravity didn't apply to it at a speed like you can't imagine. And then another one. And these son of bitches are running around back and forth, and then I'm hearing opening drawers. I'm hearing shit break. It's like they're ransacking the damn house, and I'm thinking, well, you son of bitches can have whatever the hell you want as long as you stay out of here, man. I'm in this bedroom and I'm trapped in this freaking bed, and you can just do whatever the hell you want there as long as you stay the hell out of here.
But was it rape? Like, no, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Ain't no penetration involved in this episode.
All right, no.
No, there was no rape involved.
That you partake, like voluntarily.
But they were moving so fast, I couldn't really get a good look at them. All I could tell was that they're not tall. They're less than
Ronnie.
2 feet tall.
Right.
They
Quick,
moved
I got a quick
like
question for Ronnie. Ronnie, do you think there might have been 5 of them possibly? Would you speculate maybe or?
I think I'm pretty sure there was 3 of them.
3.
Because I seen there was 2 of them running around, and at one point they almost got it like in a chase. They were like chasing each other, like an animal playing or something like that. And they were like, there was one chasing the other one, and then all of a sudden I got my first close look of one because this other one ran right in front of the door, stopped, and this thing it looked like it was like about 2 feet tall. It had a face like an old grouchy old man, wrinkled up, and it had like a armor on it, and even the armor itself had these little spikes coming off of it, like a rose or something. In my head, like if you would have grabbed this thing, it would really hurt you because it has these like thorns sticking out of this, what looks like a exoskeleton or body armor. I don't know if it's an exoskeleton or a body armor this thing is wearing, and it's got a face like an old man, but it certainly isn't the color of flesh. It's a very kind of a dark gray looking, wrinkled up, nasty, mean looking little thing. It didn't have big open eyes. Its eyes were squinted like what little bit of light I had in the room was enough to hurt its eyes. And so I didn't see no big eyes.
These are the gremlins? Are these the guys you referred to as the gremlins? Okay.
Yeah. And
how tall were they about approximately? What would you say?
I'd say they weren't no more than 2 feet tall for sure.
Wow.
And they moved. They dropped down to all fours when they ran. This thing, it came in on all fours and it stopped and it stood up on its back legs. And its front arms were really long. Like it even when it was standing up, its front arms looked like it almost went back to the floor. Like it was probably some sort of humanoid insect looking thing. I don't know, man. It was really creepy looking. And I was going, I hope this son of a bitch doesn't come in here. But he was looking at the other 2 like he was scolding them. And all of a sudden they stopped playing this little game of chase that they were playing, and they started opening drawers and cabinets and stuff again, like they were doing what they were supposed to be there doing. This looked like a senior. I just had the feeling that this was a senior one. Like he got on to the other 2 for not doing what the hell they were doing. And they went back to searching the drawers and cabinets, and they broke a light at the computer, and I heard it break, and I heard it fall on the computer desk. And then every drawer and cabinet in the whole house was opened up. And all of a sudden, what I was afraid was going to happen was he looked at the other 2. They started opening drawers and cabinets and stuff, and then this thing turned and looked in the room at me, and I'm going, oh, shit. This son of a bitch is looking straight at me now. Trapped in bed. And here he comes. He shot underneath the bed, and the other 2 followed him. Now all 3 of these damn things are right underneath the freaking bed where I'm pinned. And then all of a sudden, these guys, they start bouncing the bed up. The bed's bouncing off the floor, slamming back down. It's almost like I hear them tearing underneath the freaking bed like they're trying to claw up through the bed to get to me.
Oh my God.
They tore into the box springs. This is a pretty new mattress. They tore into the box springs, and I could look up underneath the box springs. You could see the claw marks, and you could see where they this box spring is nothing but, if you ever looked into some box springs on a bed, it's nothing really. It's just fabric covering a wooden box. And on top of this wooden box had like some wire fencing material kind of stuff and you could see where their claws had clawed the wood, and you could see where their claws had got up against this.
It's like you had
this
big
metal that's on top of the box springs, like that metal. They couldn't get through me. It was almost like they were trying to dig up through the bed to get to me through the bottom of it.
Ronnie.
Yeah,
go ahead. To interrupt, sir. So, I mean, I'm just hearing your story, and I'm just turned my skeptic brain on just for a half a moment, just to throw out a question here. Did you take any pictures of any of this stuff that was done to your bed? I mean, do you have something that we can look at and say, oh, here it is. Here's what he's talking about?
No, I never did get any pictures of it, but I got rid of that freaking mattress and stuff because I was afraid that they had planted something in it. So I actually gave it to somebody here in town, or like donated it to and this was Yeah, I was like, I want to get this damn thing out of the house. I want to get rid of it, you know. But no, I didn't. I wish I would have got some pictures or something of it, but I didn't. But the reason I didn't was because it was just there were some claw marks in the wood, and they weren't like tiger claws. They were like dull claw marks with a lot of blunt force to them. It didn't seem like they were like, you know, really sharp where they dug into the wood like a leopard or something like that. These were like something like a big dog or something like that with claw, you know.
Interesting.
So
I
yeah,
was
they
like,
had
you know,
like a metal.
I've been dealing with so many skeptics. I was like, if I take a picture of this shit and tell anyone, they're just gonna say I'm full of shit and it's caused by anything.
Yeah, it
you know?
wouldn't prove a thing. You can show people pictures and they still don't believe you anyway.
Yeah,
That's
I was
true.
like, it wouldn't do me any good to take you pictures of this because you know, wouldn't any way I could prove that it was done by these alien little creatures or whatever.
Yeah,
That
and
makes
that, you know, pictures can be messed with too so easily and look like perfect.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the point was they were bouncing this freaking bed up and down on the floor, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I am fixing to freaking die. They're clawing through this damn bed, and I'm thinking any second now they're going to claw into this mattress thing, and they're going to be tearing my back out, and I ain't going to be able to do anything about it. So they're slamming this, I'm bouncing me off the bed. The cat hauls ass. The cat jumps off that damn bed, and he takes off. And I'm thinking, at least one of us is going to get away. You know, there wasn't nothing chasing him. He headed out of the door, and he was tearing ass around the corner last time I seen him.
Right through the window.
Okay, hold on, Ronnie. So let me just make sure I understand this correctly. So you didn't get pictures, but you got the audio, and Wolfman is playing the audio live on the show tonight. That's what's happening, right?
Yeah, that's the audio from the thing. Yeah.
Okay, it's starting to make sense now. I'm feeling you now. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
But anyway, when finally these, you know, I thought, well, I'm fixing to die, so I'm once again I'm gonna fight this force that's holding me in this freaking bed, and I already had a plan. In the corner of my bedroom, there's a golf bag. I think I'm gonna jump out of this freaking bed. I'm gonna grab one of those golf clubs, and I'm gonna go to town on these son of bitches. And we're gonna know the aliens are real because I'm fixing to have one. And so I tried to fight that damn force so hard, and I put so much effort to trying to get out of that bed that it freaking near killed me, man. I mean, it felt like I had a freaking heart attack. My lungs hurt, my chest hurt. I fell back in the bed, and I thought, I'm completely screwed. They're gonna, you know, if the force that just almost killed me right then from fighting it, if it don't kill me, they are. So I think I'm dead. I'm screwed, man. So I'm just laying there, and I'm listening to these guys shuffle around. And anyway, they got to the point where the laser was being kept that I had used the previous night. And all of a sudden, everything stopped. And you have to realize, all of a sudden, I've been sitting here pinned in this bed and stuff. It's almost like they interrupted the signal between your brain and your muscles when they held you hostage in that bed. So all of a sudden, when they released me, the first thing that happened was my body jumped out of that freaking bed, and I cussed like a sailor, and I grabbed that golf club, and I was pissed off like 9 kinds of hell. And I had tried to do this seemed like 3 minutes earlier and couldn't do it. And now all of a sudden, my body's acting like a freaking robot on remote control. Because I ain't telling my body to do all this shit. This is like shit. Once they released me, it was like the thoughts that I had tried to do previously had got released and went to my muscles, and it was almost like my body was acting on remote control. I cussed. I grabbed that damn golf club, and I'm like shocked that I'm doing this shit without trying to do it. It's like my body just did it. All of a sudden, here I am. I'm holding the golf club, and I'm pissed off. And these some bitches, I'm thinking they're still in the house somewhere. So I go on this freaking alien hunt in my house with this damn golf club. And when I'm making my way through the house, shit's broken. Every drawer in the house is open. Every cabinet in the whole kitchen is open. Everything's pulled out. And no sign of these things anywhere. I check all the dark corners and places something like that could hide, and there was nothing in the house. When I finally got back to the bathroom, the tin that I had put down over the hole had been pried up, and this is pretty stout freaking tin. It would take a lot of strength to bend it, like they had bent it to get back. to get back in the house, they had pushed this tent up and had tore the screws that were screwed into the floor out. I mean, it would took a lot of force to do what they did to get back through that hole. And then it occurred to me that they probably made the damn hole in the first place, not the cat.
Let me ask you a quick question. So where was this house? What city, what state? Was it on Indian grounds? I mean, I want a picture where this all happened.
It's right here it's close. I live right on Main Street in Ranger, Texas. It's a part of Old Main Street. I mean, I just live right off Main Street down here in North Central Texas.
You're right. I mean, there's other houses around you, I assume, then in your neighborhood.
Oh yeah, I got neighbors on both sides. I mean,
has any of your neighbors ever told you things that are going on at their house that might have led you to think that maybe they're having the same experience?
I talked to the guy who lived about. He lives about 3 blocks from me, and he said that he had a dream one night when he woke up and he was paralyzed in bed, and he saw some kind of a creature in there with him, and then he didn't want to look at it because it scared him, and he just looked away, and he made himself think that, just he pulled the cover up over his head, and he didn't want to look at it.
Yeah, I've
but
done
he
that.
saw something looking at him.
I've done that before when I was a kid. A couple times I saw things in my room. That's weird. Yeah, but Ronnie, I don't know if Eric, realized that before this happened, he was shining a laser up in the sky. So yeah, I think you heard that. You mentioned that. Yeah. But Ronnie's also seen he's an oil field worker, and he's seen all kinds of UFOs out in the boondocks.
So Ronnie, you were born and raised in Texas?
Yes, I lived here most of my life. I lived up in Wyoming for a while. I lived up in Kansas for about 9 years, working in the oil field up there when it got slow down here around Texas. So I lived in Kansas, Wyoming, Colorado a little bit.
Okay, that's Gigi on line 2. By the way,
yeah, that's me. Yeah, I also grew up in Texas, so yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I feel your pain. But I do have one question. So you had a little romantic rendezvous with a cat-like alien being, as I understand it. Is that accurate to say?
Well, it wasn't really they wanted a genetic sample, and she wanted me to just have sex with her to get it. And I thought, man, this is the oddest request. And the blue alien is the one that told. She was the one that did most of the talking. And she said, my associate would just wonder if you wouldn't mind having sex with her, and she could get the genetic sample that we need, and it would really help us out a lot. And I'm thinking, wow, that is such a freaking odd request. And then she kind of whispered in my ear, and she goes, you have to understand. She said the people of her world have sex like the people of your world shake hands or smile at a stranger. And she said, even the people of my world think it's odd. So they're completely sexually uninhibited on their planet or whatever.
All right, well, here's the question. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being the warmth of a human vagina, how warm was it?
Well, like I said, you couldn't feel, in this place that we were at, you could not feel hot or cold.
By the way, good question.
You couldn't feel hot or cold. I mean, and like you, I was like, she wants me to have sex with her. She dogged up on the bed, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm sexually compatible with this thing. I mean, you could look at her ass, and she had, she was built and she was shapely, except for the tail that was whipping back and forth. I mean, this thing is making this big arc back and forth.
Oh, we're coming to the top of the hour, guys. It's gonna ding any second. We're gonna have to be right back. Everybody gets a little break here, and then you can tell them what happened at the juicy details of the sex part with the alien. And we're gonna open up the lines when we come back. All right.
Monster Castle Paranormal Digital Radio. Brothers and sisters, we're here for one reason and one music. I present to you country music without prejudice. Hey! Country boys don't rock and roll. Yeah, the record man told me so. You'll never get it on the radio. Why they trying to complicate the simple music that we make? Oh, cause if it moves my soul, I'm gonna keep on rolling, rolling. Hey, just wanna hear everybody sing at the top of your lungs till the windows break. Say hey, hey, hey. I ain't gonna shut my mouth. Don't mind if I stand out in a crowd. Just wanna live out loud. I know there's got a few 100 million more like me, just trying to keep it free. Yeah. Hey, just wanna hear everybody sing at the top of your lungs till the windows break. Say hey, hey, hey. Charlie Pride was the man in black. Rock and roll used to be about Johnny Cash. Yeah, what you think about that? Well, I'm a crazy son of a bad word, but I know I'm gonna make it big and rich. Yeah, I'm gonna let it rip. Hey, just wanna hear everybody sing at the top of your lungs till the windows break. Say hey, cowboy Troy.
Diggity dum, dig this. Slicker than the grease from a barbecue brisket. Got more chalk than a fresh potato salad. You thought you had your answer, but your answer wasn't valid. You're looking at me crazy cause you think I'm loco. The big black cowboy with the crazy vocal. Todas las personas están gritando arriba. Now you heard it, now I know you a believer. Esta canción es para toda la gente. Muy importante a usar su mente. So let go of all your preconceived notions. Get up on your feet and put your body in motion. Cause back home, we love to dance. We can be two-stepping or raving the trance. And when the party is crunk, the girls back it up. We got the systems in the cars and the 20s on the trucks. 6'4" with the cowboy hat. I don't mess around, yo, what's up with that? I'm Cowboy Troy, a Texas hit. And I'm rolling with the brothers, Big and Rich.
Go cowboy, go cowboy, go. Go cowboy, go cowboy, go. Hey, just
She had a
wanna
tremendous
hear
body.
everybody
You
sing
could see her cat right here.
at the top of your lungs
Tip
till the windows break. Say hey, 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 hey. Just wanna hear everybody sing at the top of your lungs till the windows break. Say hey, hey, hey.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, shit, yeah. Can you dig it, baby? Rock and roll.
Dig it.
All right, we're back with Ronny Dawson, Awakening Man Eric, and we've got Gigi Rabbit here. And actually, you don't like to be called a rabbit anymore.
Yeah, no, it's just Gigi.
It's just Gigi now. Yeah, so shut up, everyone that says rabbit, because I can't even do this to you anymore. Hi, Gigi. Stop jumping. Stop jumping, Gigi. I can't even fucking do that anymore. Jesus Christ. What'd you do to me, man? You wreck everything. You have to wreck
Gigi was
everything.
a rabbit in a past life. He reincarnated as a Gigi. He's no longer Gigi Rabbit. That was a past life.
All right. So
Yeah, it's a long story. Yeah.
what we need to do now is put you into the Skype call. If Eric, could you add him into the Skype call?
Oh yeah, I'm already in it now. Eric
He's already in.
Oh, he did? Okay, good. All right. Because I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, the call line is open.
All right. So now I'm gonna open up the lines, and if you want to call in from the U.S., the number is 360-313-8339. I'll post it in the chat, and I'll put it in Twitter too. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Okay, while you're doing that, I got one quick question for Ronnie.
Actually,
let the lady know. The lady's been waiting.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
let
man.
Leanna.
No. It's a silly question, but I'm just curious. When you were having sex with the rabbit lady, and you said you couldn't feel hot or cold, could you feel anything? Was it just like you're going through the motion? Like if you couldn't feel hot or cold, it would make sense that you wouldn't feel anything because it'd be numb.
Well, before I'm gonna stick my penis anywhere, I'm gonna stick my hand down there and I'm gonna see what's going on. So I stuck my hand down there, and it felt like it was moist and accommodating. So I could see that it was definitely possible. And then she told me, she goes, for it to feel right, you have to go easy. And I understand. And this, like I said, you can move through solid matter here. So I mean, yeah.
But my question is you said didn't feel hot or cold, so it would make sense to me that if you can't feel hot or cold, you're not going to have any sensation.
You can feel moisture, but you're not moist. But it felt like moisture. It felt like sex.
Depends on the condom.
Hold on a second.
I mean, honestly, I would have gone no condom if it were me. But
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, if he's not in his body, so therefore, I don't think you can get STDs on an energetic level. I don't know if that translates.
honestly, that's such a great opportunity. I wouldn't even be worried about
Well,
it.
basically,
Let's do this.
If you're gonna give a sample that they can keep, that's a biological sample, that means you can receive a biological virus. That's just logic.
Right, but he said that he could see his body back there, like he was astral traveling.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different then.
So I'm confused.
I'm confused
okay,
too.
Your body, how can you can't feel and you can't feel higher.
I remember that part of the story now. That's right. That's confusing.
Yeah, you can't. They don't. They didn't look like ghosts. I mean, you couldn't see through them. But like I said, you can move through solid matter.
I'm not mainly talking about them. I was talking about you. You said you could look back and see your own body. So before you were out of your body. So
no, I actually looked at my hands. I had hands. Because I'd always heard that if you're dreaming and you want to see if you're dreaming, see if you can see your own hands and stuff. And I did. I looked at my hands, and at one point, I was this female was holding my hand, and I wanted to see what the palm of her hand looked like. And I looked at my hand, and I released my hand from holding her hand. And it's almost like it hurt her feelings when I did this. It's almost like I was rejecting her physical contact. But I just wanted to see what her hand, because I'd already seen it. I could see. I looked at my right hand, and I could see it. And she was holding my left hand, and I wanted to see what her hand looked like. So I released her hand, and then she acted like it kind of hurt her feelings, like I was rejecting her physical contact. But I just wanted to see what her hand looked like. And when I looked at her hand, it had a thumb and 4 fingers, just like a human does. But she had these pads, and I always knew when I was holding hands with her, her hand felt really like she was almost like she was wearing a glove. But she has these pads on her hand, like a cat's foot, and even in between the digits of the fingers were these little leather pads, really weird looking. And when I seen that it hurt her feelings, I just wanted to see what her hand looked like. I started holding her hand again, and it's almost like it made her feel better that I did that. I just wanted to get a look at it.
So now this kind of goes back to my question that I was asking during the break. So on a scale of 1 to 10, from super ugly to the hottest girl you've ever seen, like, was this cat being attractive at all? And what would you from a human standpoint, was she attractive as a cat person?
Oh yeah, I think from a human standpoint, probably a 7. Yeah, she was probably a 7, even though she had a cat's nose and a mouth, and she had these thin whiskers that came out of her upper lip. I say she'd still go a 7. I mean, it was almost like.
Now, are we talking? Are we talking an LA 7 or like a regular 7?
Just picture a Las Vegas showgirl dressed in the most elegant Halloween costume you could imagine, and that's probably what you'd be looking at there.
Okay, that's interesting.
Let me jump in real quick. So this cat lady, now when you were having this interaction with her, and now did she make any sounds or noises because when cats get it on, they make some strange fucking sounds.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, she probably went like "Row."
It kind of sounds like somebody's killing them, actually.
She did kind of make this purring noise a time or two, and her tail was flipping back and forth, and it was freaking me out because this big arching tail was whipping back and forth.
Yeah, that tail.
And she told me, she said it does that when I get excited.
Oh boy.
In English, she spoke English with her mouth, but she had trouble making certain syllables because of the way her mouth was built, and it was almost comical because she knew how to speak English, and she had trouble making a few syllables because of the way her tongue and her mouth wouldn't let her. But like a person with a speech impediment, you could see the way that she would, if she had trouble saying a word, she would not. She would use a different word and say it in a different way instead of using the same word again. So it was like she was intelligent enough that she was struggling to speak English, even though they spoke English very better than I do. They were more of a proper speaking English. It was, both of them spoke English really well, even though the one had a hard time enunciating English with her mouth.
So did you get to see, or do you know, were you there long enough to witness her eat food? And if so, what kind of food was she eating?
No, this whole encounter, I want to say this whole encounter maybe lasted 20 minutes, and they seemed like they were pressed for time. And
so this is just a straight up one night stand.
Yeah, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Well, this is like
Ronnie, are you a quick hitter? Is that what you're trying to say, Ronnie?
You just get out, yeah.
Yeah, with my wife walking through the room, and my body sleeping there, we're having sex on top of my sleeping body, basically, and my wife is walking through the room, and it's very awkward. It's less than perfect conditions for having sex, I can guarantee you. And my wife walked to the room, and this thing was dogged up on the bed. We're trying to get me to have sex with her, and she asked my wife. She goes, "Ma'am, I'm going to have sex with your husband. Is that okay?" And she just walked right by her. And she goes, "They can't hear or see us." And she said, "And don't worry, your physical body is still sleeping there." So it's almost like reassuring me that you're not actually cheating on your wife because your physical body is there. And
so did you get her number? Can you give it to me or what?
That's good.
But I just really wanted to get it over with. But you have to realize, I'm sitting here. I'm a person of Earth meeting extraterrestrials for the first time. I want to make a good impression, not just for me, but for everybody in the whole stinking world. And I want to show everybody that these guys are real, and I want to be on good terms with them for the benefit of everyone. So I would have done whatever the hell they wanted me to. Hey, if you will help us technology, if you'll help us save our planet, if you'll help us do the things that we need to do here and be healthier and happier and better than we are, you can stick shit up my ass or whatever the hell you want. I'll take one for the team.
You see, and that's exactly, people ask me all the time, what do I mean when I say get there while you can? That's what I mean. Right there. That's called get there while you can, son.
So I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to stay in good terms with these things. And if having sex is part of it, by God, I'm willing to have sex, even though it's
yeah, be a learner. Yeah.
So hold on, I got time out. I got an important question for Ronnie. So it sounds like there was some negotiations going on behind the scenes that maybe you haven't talked about yet. So what sort of things did they promise you or tell you that was going to be happening here on Earth or for your family in exchange for this sexual activity that you participated in?
Yeah.
Well, they told me, she told me that I should be happy that I'd be seeding that I'd be seeding new worlds and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, and then and she was surprised that I wasn't, real excited about, my. And I said, look, I said, there's way better genetic samples than me. I said, our family is like, our genetic samples are like, yeah, we got bad teeth, bad toes, and a propensity for violence. There's way better genetic samples here than me. And then she said, look, we need genetic samples from everyone. She goes, when the people of your world meet the people of our world, and she said, our scientists are working on the means to get this done. And she said, we want genetic samples from everyone. She said, we don't need just genetic samples from a few people. We need genetic samples from everyone. And
I don't know. You would think they would leave out Texans, but I don't know. I guess for scientific research. Hey, I'm a Texan, so I can say that.
All right.
But
you do not sound like a bloody Texan. You sound normal. You do not have the accent of a Texan.
Who, Ronnie or me?
You.
Oh, no, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas.
What happened to you?
How
come you don't talk normal?
I left. I moved to California.
Yeah,
I got the hell out of there. But yeah, no, Texas is it's what we like to call a pile of suck. There's just really no reason to. I mean, Austin is kind of cool, but that's about it. Austin's like the SoCal of Texas, and then otherwise, but here's the cool thing about Texas, though. I will give Texas this. I don't know if many people know this, but when you look at big ceremonies that are internationally held or on a federal level, there's 50 states, right? So if all 50 states' flags are represented at a ceremony, typically the American flag is the highest flag, and most of the other 50 states are lowered. But there's only one state that is allowed to raise their flag up to the level of the U.S. flag, and that's Texas, because they worked that into the deal after the war of whatever it's called, after the whole Mexico thing. That was part of their deal. It's like, well, if we're going to be part of and the other part of that is Texas is the only state that can secede from the United States whenever it wants. So as soon as shit goes south, which it really already has, whenever Texas wants, it can become its own country at any time without any questions being asked. So Texas is pretty baller when it comes to that. But it's just a shitty place to live. That's what I took from growing up there anyway.
Yes, it is a shitty place to live.
There you go. But yeah, there's your GG facts of the night right there.
All righty.
Awesome. I don't know. I lived in Kansas for about 9 years. And
yeah, that's not much better.
And the place that I live here is like a place where people from Kansas take vacations to.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you why. There's places.
Kansas just looks the same. It's flat.
It is cold and flat and windy.
Mm-hmm.
And
So Ronnie, how long has it been since you had an experience? I mean, has it been a couple of years, or are you still having these experiences?
Good, yeah.
A lot of times I'll go a whole year without having anything happen, and it seems like something happens about once a year, and it's usually when you least suspect it. And I have this August 2017 encounter. It had been a long time since I had seen anything, and about a month ago, I seen these UFO lights come right over Cisco, Texas. Man, it was like three big lights came on, and they they sequenced. They went boom, boom, boom in a sequence. And I was pulling my truck over, rolling the window down, and having my phone, getting ready to get a picture, and it didn't come back on again. And it really pissed me off because I really try to catch something every time I see something. Because man, I've dealt with so many damn skeptics that I always try to get, and I do. I've got some of the footage that I've caught is like it is. Some of the stuff is mind blowing. Like I've caught the left hand side of a craft that was a V shape mile long, and on top of this thing is several different species of aliens. And the thing is, I can't get anybody to believe it. Now, I've turned this damn footage over to researchers that have blown the damn pixels up to the size of tennis balls, and they said that if he manipulated the footage, he's done so in a method that no one has ever been able to master. And I'm like, I ain't manipulating shit. I've got the story. Travis Walton didn't have any pictures. He's got his story. Well, I've got the story. I've got the pictures to back it up. I said a mothership flew over my head, and I caught a picture of I caught some video footage of the damn thing. And it's such crappy footage. You can't tell what it is. I'm like, look, this is a moving object at night taken with a cell phone. What the hell do you think it's going to look like? It's not going to be a great picture. But
I think there was a picture at all. It was a cell phone at night.
But it backs up my story. My story is that a freaking UFO mothership that's a mile long flew over my head, and I've got a video clip of the left half of it. This thing's taken from a mile away, and it's larger than the camera's field of view at a mile away. So there's no doubt this thing is huge.
Massive.
Yeah, I mean, this thing. A one-eyed guy with bad vision could have seen this thing. I mean, when it came over my head, it was like a Walmart parking lot flying over your head.
And you still have this, Ronnie?
Yeah, I've had it, and I've offered it to anyone who wants to look at it.
Well,
I have contacted major universities, and they've turned me down.
How can I see it? Where can I find it?
I've got a UFO file that I posted on Dropbox.
Okay.
And it's accessible there. And I'm trying to think where else I've got it.
Are you Facebook or Twitter? Could I get one? Could you say
on the Ronny Dawson YouTube channel? I think there's a copy of it there called the UFO Mothership Original Footage.
Okay, I'll look it up.
You can go to the Ronny Dawson YouTube channel. I've got like 1,260,000 views on my YouTube channel.
Shit.
And I've got I post everything I've got there, and a lot of the UFO pictures that I've taken this thing and I blow it up. And on top of this crap, now this happened. This thing came over my head 1 year after the Goblin. When my house got invaded. 1 year later, these guys, I hadn't seen anything in a freaking year, man, and I let my guard down. And I thought, man, they are done with me after that last ordeal. And then all of a sudden, I'm out there working one night. And all of a sudden, I drive up on this lease, and I'm on the phone talking to a buddy, and all of a sudden, I see these lights come on, and a craft lift off the ground, and it's going to pass right over my freaking head, and then all of a sudden, the lights just blink out on it by the time I get my phone opened up, so I can't get a picture of the damn thing, and I'm frustrated to hell that I missed the opportunity to get a picture of it on the ground.
Hey, Ronnie, are you a musician also, Ronnie?
I pick on the guitar a little bit, but I am certainly not good enough to play in a band or anything like that.
Okay, because I was looking. I
play in a parade. I played some ACDC. Hold on, in a parade here recently. Hold on, road theme song.
Yeah, but you said guitar. So, what part of Texas are you from?
North Central.
What? Oh, okay. So, well, here's another interesting Texas thing is we have kolaches in Texas, right? Have you ever seen a kolache anywhere else outside of Texas in all of your travels?
No, I haven't actually.
What is it?
Yeah, isn't that a weird moment when you go outside of Texas to a donut shop? Like, yeah, let me get a sausage and cheese kolache, and they look at you like you're retarded. Like, they don't even know what you're talking about. It's like, what do you mean?
Chicken fried steak kind of blows them away, too. It's like I had a chicken fried steak up in Wyoming, and they actually breaded the meat with crackers instead of flour.
Oh, that's blasphemy.
And it's like, oh, my God, you should have your ass whipped. Like in a
Yeah. That's horrendous. Yeah.
What is a kolache?
That's a good, that's
It's a
good
pastry of
question.
some sort.
Okay, Ronnie, let's do this. How do we describe a kolache to those that are uninitiated?
Well, I think basically you take a sausage, and then you put you wrap it in like biscuit dough.
Biscuit dough, right?
And then you bake it. And
But
then-
here's where Texas has kind of evolved over the last 10 years. Now it's more common where the sausage actually has cheese inside of it, rather than putting cheese in it. There's like cheesy bits.
Like a pigs and bacon almost, but with sausage.
Yeah, it's like, pretty much. But the dough that they use is very similar to biscuit,
Biscuit.
but it's pretty much its own thing. And and there's also ham and cheese kolaches. There's boudin kolaches, and it's just like you go to a donut shop and you get a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. In Texas, we go there and we get a sausage, egg, and cheese kolache, and it's so much better. It's so much less sloppy. Although I hate Texas with all my heart and soul, I will give Texas that kolaches are so much better than anything you find anywhere else.
And it's got jalapeno. You can get jalapenos.
Oh, you get the jalapenos in there. Good point. Yeah.
Okay, that's enough food talk, guys. And everyone's gonna want to fucking eat at this time of day, and we don't want to get fat when we go to sleep. We should just fucking go to sleep. So shut up about the food, all right? That's enough.
Kolache.
No more kolaches. Go to bed.
All right. Well, hopefully we have an Igor appearance at some point tonight.
Well, yeah, if you keep talking about kolaches, he might just come out there and electrocute you there, sir.
Give you an eyeball kolache.
Yeah. He'll make an
Okay,
eyeball kolache out of you.
Yeah, we still got some more of the story here. I got to talk about. where
Yeah,
I
let's
pulled my
do that
kolache
because,
out of the
you know,
chili.
he's got to get up early. So let's let Ronnie keep going because I think everybody's enjoying this.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
And actually, we're
Yes,
at
sir.
the bottom of the hour in a minute here, and it's going to do something. So, yeah, you got about 2 minutes. And then we're going to take a short break again and then be right back. But I'm surprised nobody's called in. The number is 360-313-8339. And I'll say it again after the break. That's the American number, Canadian number 226-317-3331. Lots of threes, man. It's
All right.
Our
Good
Canadian
number.
deal?
So you want to wait till after the break? Or you want me to go ahead and talk a little bit about?
We got you got a minute or 2 minutes.
Okay. So I finally completed the deal with this being. I was surprised I was able to pull it off, but I did pull it off, and so I've completed the deal. And she jumped up. She reached down beside the bed, and she pulls out this electronic device. She jumps up on the bed, and she's standing on the bed on her feet. She sticks this thing up underneath her, and she shoots out my ejaculate into this vial-looking thing. It's got like a plastic half to it, and you can see this light scan over the fluid, and all of a sudden you can see this row of lights light up and down on this thing. And
oh wow!
And it's like she's done this before. But seriously, man,
She's a fucking cat whore.
it's like she's done. You could tell she had done this before. So
She's a whore.
But
yeah.
I did not know they had any kind of electrical,
What-
electronic device with them.
How much did you have to pay her after that?
Nothing. It was on the house.
Okay, she's not a whore. She's a cat. She's just a nice kitty cat.
No, she's
I wonder
a
what
slut.
happened when he brought out some catnip.
She's a slutty kitty.
Get high.
In the beginning was the Wolfman. The Wolfman created the Wolf.
Me and my Winston, we got a real good thing.
We'll be right
a real
back,
good
folks.
thing. Me and my Winston.
Time was when we didn't give a second thought to commercials like this, when no one was concerned about cigarettes. But those days of innocence are over.
Ladies and gentlemen, the late Yul Brynner.
I really wanted to make a commercial when I discovered that I was that sick.
Today, smoking is being passionately debated everywhere. In homes and offices, in restaurants and hospitals, in the courts, state legislatures, even in the Congress. Cigarettes are now a national dilemma and no longer the accepted part of life they once were.
You can take Salem out of the country, but
To understand the origins of the smoking dilemma, we must go back to when cigarettes first became popular, to the America of 1917.
Getting soldiers to smoke in the First World War was a major aspect of the promotion of smoking in the early 20th century. All of our soldiers came back from France as smokers. It was very difficult to say to them in the way that we said to our culture about alcohol, no, we're not going to let them have this. And the industry picked up on these images. How can you take a cigarette away from a soldier who's been sitting under extreme stress and tension in the trenches of Europe, protecting democracy for the world? This is one of his few enjoyments in a world of great risk and violence.
The doughboys came home from World War I addicted to nicotine. I remember the Brecher family party when two of my older cousins, released from the service, came home early in 1919, smoking cigarettes, of course. And the memory is particularly sharp for a special reason. Prior to this time, only men smoked, with the exception of a few prostitutes and other loose women. In fact, in the film, in the movies, when you wanted to characterize a woman as being disreputable, she lit a cigarette and you knew who she was at once. And here, on the occasion of my cousins coming home from the war, I saw my mother light a cigarette. I was 7. And I still remember the
Have you ever seen her masturbate? Okay.
Ran out of the room red in the face and found a closet and hid.
I'll get you something to wrap.
I don't believe it.
Don't bother.
Don't bother. Okay. Has everybody done their cigarettes? Oh yeah, I had one.
All right, so I think the message from that is if you haven't smoked a cigarette yet, call 1-800-SMOKE-NOW and start today.
Start smoking
Yeah,
today.
make sure you give it to your mother.
Support the local tobacco farmers.
Cigarettes in my room, Doctor?
Yeah, if you're going to smoke cigarettes, you might as well smoke good ones, right?
Yeah, even the doctors used to smoke it when they were doing surgery. Come on.
Yeah, if a doctor smokes, it's got to be good.
They used to say that, they'd tell you that cigarettes were good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like we got a call.
Oh, I can guess.
Line 2, you're on the air.
Yo, this is Dee.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good tonight.
Where are you calling from?
Kind of late. California.
All right, she's a California girl. It's D?
Yeah, all right.
With a
D-E-T.
Deet. Okay,
2
group.
E's.
2 E's and it's Deet.
Yes.
And that's just like the insect repellent.
Exactly.
That's so funny you mentioned that. Yeah, we joked about that earlier. Yeah.
Oh, you know this person?
Yeah, she was on our show earlier tonight.
Oh, groovy, man. All right. Well, welcome to the Monster Castle. You got a question?
All right.
You got a question for Ronnie?
What for Ronnie?
You know, Ronny Dawson's here, our guest. I was wondering if you had a question for him.
Oh, a question.
Yeah,
Sure.
the one that fucked your cat.
The alien
Ronnie,
shagger.
have you seen any other animal-like aliens since then?
No. No, that was the first and the last. But I think it's going to maybe fairly common here and sometime in the near future whenever they work out the means of the alien contact that they're working on. Yeah. Because part of what we discussed in the meeting was how to tell you guys that they're there and they've been watching us. And the people of their world are demanding to be able to meet us.
Well, and honestly, on a serious note, there's, we're in this community. We're all aware of different races, everything from reptilians to elves, dwarves, and everything like that. One thing you don't hear of too much is cats. But if you look at the Elder Scrolls games, like Oblivion, Skyrim, Morrowind, all that stuff, yeah, they have cats are the only other race that is fully represented in those stories other than the ones that we all talk about and know of. So it kind of, and whoever writes those stories and those games are obviously very intelligent and very brilliant. So the fact that they went out of their way to include these cat beings or a whole race of cats, which they call Khajiit, it puts some things in perspective.
Okay, well, what about Egyptian? All the Egyptian. There's pictures all over Egypt of people with cat heads.
Yeah, no, but those are cat heads,
Yeah,
not
well,
cat people. Those are humans with cat heads.
All their gods.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nah, it's kind of different because
Cat-headed humanoids.
We're talking about full blown, vertebrate cats rather than humans with a cat head. There's two different schools of thought there.
They're probably cat hybrids.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure there are.
Well, I've heard lots of stories about hybrid cat beings. I've seen lots of pictures of them that people drew pictures of them from encounters. Leona, I think she's a cat person. She probably has a holographic disguise. Right, Leona?
I love cats. No holographic disguise. I just picked the name because it's one of my spirit guides.
I would love to see a human hybrid cat play whack-a-mole with their tail. I think that would be.
Yeah.
I would beat the cat.
Some record.
I could beat the cat
That would be
on
such
that game.
precise motor control.
Well, the Cat in the Hat was kind of humanoid.
That's true.
Yeah, but its hat was too short.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, she started talking about what they were going to do with the semen and how they were going to use it to seed new worlds, and that how I should be excited that my offspring would be seeding new worlds. And I said, man, well, there's a whole lot better genetic samples out here than me. Why do you want me? And she said, we need genetic samples from everyone. And she goes, well, she said, first of all, we modify it to adapt to the planet that it's going to be used on. And then she went off on this tangent about the genetic modifications that they were going to use. And then she said something to the extent of our genetic, the helix, or our genetic DNA helix should be modified. We weren't far from being able to cure most of our diseases and stuff like that. And she said the DNA helix that they use has 3 parts to it, where we have 2. I didn't even know what I had to get on the internet and look what a helix is. That's a genetic model of DNA, right? Apparently.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I really feel like that my specimen would be much more valuable than anybody else here. And I'm kind of bummed out that I wasn't chosen for this.
Oh my God.
Well, maybe you're next on the list.
Now you asked for it.
Bring out Igor. Get the
I'm not.
Igor.
Yeah, it's got to be Igor.
Bring out Igor.
The other thing I was at college, she said she was
Oh,
gone.
Mr. Gigi. Oh, Mr. Gigi. I think we'll talk
Here we come.
with you, Mr. Gigi. Hi, Mr. Gigi. Hello, Mr. Gigi. How would you like to be electrocuted?
No!
Ow. Oh my God.
Then don't do it. Your stupid comments and your egotistical bullshit. Take it somewhere else, or I will electrocute you again.
Okay, Igor.
Now, Igor, be nice with a guest.
I submit.
Good shit right there, Wolfman. I'm a.
All right, I've been put in my place.
Well,
you know what?
Back to you, Ronnie. Back to you, Ronnie.
Yeah, well, it sounds like they're working on some kind of DNA code for it's like some kind of interdimensional. I don't know. So I'm trying to unlock some kind of a code, like where they could like interdimensional travel. It's like they can take us somewhere else and put us in a different body, or they could come, or that seemed like they were trying to build like where we could travel to their world and they could put us in a clone body, and the body would be designed to take anyone. Right now my body's specific to me, and as I've been thinking about that, I was like, it's really, that's kind of dangerous, right? Because what if in fact they're needing all the genetic samples so they could come possess us? They could like pull you out of your body and they could jump in your body and go shoot a bunch of people or something. They could declare war on us using our own people.
They can just take our bodies over and leave us someplace else.
Right. They pull me out of my body. What if they jumped into it and they went on a killing spree? And then they left and put me back in my body. And then, I'm going to face the consequences of their actions, not my actions. So, I was sitting, it's kind of creepy, and you really, and one of the things I did was the tall blue alien, I wanted to get the sense of whether this thing was evil or whether this thing was good. And so I got really close to it. I was within 12 inches of it. I looked straight in the big eye from about 12 inches away, and it was kind of creeped out that I got that like the feline loved to touch. She was all handsy the whole time we were there. Now the tall blue alien, she did not like me getting really close to her. She was willing to grab me when it was time to help me, but she was like, she didn't really like to be touched. And in fact, one of the things that she told me to tell the people of my world was that when it comes time for the people of our world to meet the people of their world, one of the things that they asked, and this is like the first rule of contact, is no physical contact without making a request. As they said, as a common courtesy, if you want to touch them, ask permission first. Don't just grab them. And that was it's like the first rule of contact. I think it sounds to me like the first rule of contact.
I bet it's like a different culture.
They probably have a different protocol for their what's rude and what isn't rude. It's just their own way.
But I got close to this thing. I was within 12 inches of its eyes, and you see these pictures and everything on TV where the aliens have big black eyes. Those eyes weren't black. They were magnificent, beautiful blue, and they had these white specks in it. And her eye filled almost a whole eye socket. It was how we have a lot of white around our eyes. They had almost none. It was like the whole iris of her eye filled the whole socket. Her eyes were huge. They were blue. They were beautiful, and they had these weird white specks in them. And when I got really close to her, it kind of creeped her out. And she asked me what I'm doing. She said, I said, I just want to get a good look at your eyes. I said, they're beautiful. And she was kind of creeped out about it. And that's when she told me, it's the first rule of contact. No physical contact without permission first. And I didn't touch her, but I just got really close to her, and you could tell that she felt uncomfortable in me doing it. But I felt no evil from this thing at all. In fact, I feel more contempt from my fellow man walking through the aisle of Walmart.
Right?
I do for this thing.
I agree. I would have to agree.
But there's other people think different. There are people that are convinced that these things are aliens, and in fact, I'm on like a possession watch list. I've got like 2 exorcists that are with the Catholic Church that are watching me right now.
Oh yeah, if you
I'm going to be the next possession story. Yeah. And so and I told them, hey man, I'll keep in touch. And I even told my wife, said, hey, if I do get possessed, call these guys. I got 2 numbers right now, and I'm on the possession watch list. But I'm confident that these are ET. These are not aliens, and if they are demons, they're certainly not very demonic.
Yeah, they're a little bit more sexy than your average demon.
Yeah, they're not doing a very good job of demonizing my home.
They're probably a little furrier too.
But the thing is, there for a long time, man, we were seeing stuff in my house where you would take a picture and you would see an odd white shape, or I've seen like a free roaming vapor that like drifting through the house, And at one point, I woke up in my bed, and there's this free roaming vapor in a room with a light on, floating above my bed. And I've got 2 teenage daughters, so I'm thinking something got burned in the kitchen, because it happens a lot here. But I've noticed all of a sudden the smoke doesn't have a smell to it. And then when I got up to see where the smoke was coming from, it shot off the bed and right through the same wall that I walked through to go through the dimensional portal. This smoke that was above me just shot through the wall in a well-lit room. And I'm like, holy shit, man, what the freaking hell was that?
Sounds like they astral project into your house pretty often.
And you can go to Google. You can Google Ronny Dawson UFO, and you'll see a lot of the UFO pictures that I've taken, and you'll be able to see some of the anomalies that I've caught around my home of the free roaming vapor. I have got some amazing pictures, man. And I mean, the story. And the weird thing is, nobody knows who the frick I am, and it's kind of, you think if you had an amazing story like that, people would really grab onto it, but people don't know who the hell I am. I volunteered for Alien Con to sit on one of their panels the other day, and these people are like, "Who the frick is this guy?" And finally, I think one of the main people friended me the other day on Link, so they're kind of waking up to the fact. I was like, how the hell can you have an Alien Con and not have the Alien Shagger there? Because they're coming to Dallas, and I'm like 80 miles away. You know.
You got to have Ronny Dawson in the mix. Now,
how can you have an Alien Con without an Alien Shagger?
Man, I was chased down by fireballs, and they were shooting electricity at me, and I had to hide in a ditch, and then I had missing time, and I had this orb come up to me, and it was pretty freaky, man. My brother saw it too, and like I told my story. I was supposed to be on a TV show in all this crap, and then I seen all the ghosts. Ronnie's seen Bigfoot. It's fucked up, man. Like, we see all these weird things. I've seen so many UFOs. I've seen monsters, all kinds of shit, man.
Well, I've got to ask Ronnie, do you, with all the photos that you've taken, and do you have an Instagram account that people can follow, or where's the best way for them?
Twitter, nice.
But there's no demon section.
Don't make me smack Igor around.
Yeah, I have a Twitter at Ronny_Dawson. I have an Imgur that I post a lot of my pictures on, and actually the Imgur account, you just look up the Imgur account, Ronny Dawson, RONNY DAWSON, and I actually set up that Imgur account because of some skeptics wanted to take my pictures and scrutinize them, and so I opened this Imgur account, and I realized that, man, Imgur is a great place to like blow up small images and really get a good look at them. And I said, holy hell, this is what I've been looking for all along. And so I posted a lot of my UFO stuff there on Imgur. You can check it out. You can research it. I mean, I've been an open book from the word go. And I've contacted the university and said, look, man, I've got some UFO mothership footage. You think they would like, after I caught some of that footage down in Coleman County down there, I figured there'd be a NASA van parked in front of my house researching what I just captured. I figured the newspapers would be lit up with the fact that a mile-long craft came in the U.S. airspace. I filed a FAA low craft report, which is a felony offense to falsify such a report on that big sighting down there. And even the FAA told me that they said all aircraft in the area were accounted for, and I should report my UFO, that was their term to identify, not mine, to Newport. And it's like the FAA says it's a UFO. They don't know what it was.
So they must have known. They must have had it. They must have had it on a radar of some sort.
They had to have seen something.
Well, they had to have. But here's the other thing, though, Ronnie, is, man, you need to put this stuff on Instagram. It's 2019. Instagram is a big thing. And here's the thing with Instagram is, what do they call it? If you take a picture with your phone, there's data in the image that you can prove what time and date it was taken according to the GPS system that all phones are connected to, that are all funded and run by the Department of Defense. So if you put an image on Instagram, if somebody really wanted to disprove your image and it was legitimate, they won't be able to do it because you have it on Instagram with that information implanted into that image.
That's
right. That makes any sense.
Yeah,
So
everything is. Everything we do on our computer, like if you do a picture or anything you do on a computer, you're taking a
there's
picture
a
on
word
anything.
for it.
Videos,
I
everything.
can't.
Everything has a signature. You're right. And it can be
Yeah.
traced back to that device at a certain time and place.
Yeah, it's called like a geo signature or something like that. But yeah, that information is implant. It's contained within the file of the image itself.
See,
If you
all
take
computers and cell phones and all this stuff was all military before we got to use it for years.
Oh,
yeah.
This is all Department of Defense shit.
Yeah, and they're just letting us use it now because they got way better shit now.
Exactly. Yes.
I'd say they're probably 40, 50 years ahead of us in technology that the military, the Black Ops have anti-gravity machines and all this stuff already. So we don't know if that UFO that they knew about was one of ours.
Yeah, that's really where the line gets foggy. Is exactly right there.
Well, Teresa Turner was
to make it harder.
Yeah, Teresa Turner was the MUFON investigator. She's like the director of the state of Texas MUFON. She came down to the sighting location where I seen all this stuff, and I talked to her and I showed her a lot of my pictures and stuff. I didn't give her the full story because there was a friend of mine saying, "Man, you're gonna," they said, "you need to shut the hell up. You're gonna lose your job and you're gonna end up being riding in the back of a Hummer," And he said, just stick with the basics. Don't tell her anything, about the mothership. Just tell her about the lights. And so I was I didn't really, all of a sudden, then she was just about there. And I said, okay, well, what are you driving? She said, well, I'm driving a black Hummer. And I'm going, oh, shit. My buddy's right, man. They're going to take me out. Anyway, Teresa Turner, she was trying to convince me that this is like a secret military black ops project, and it was our ship, and I didn't know. I thought maybe you have to understand the bottom of this thing is solid rock. Now there was nothing. This thing looked like a meteor. You could see blast marks on the bottom of it. You could see burn marks. You could see craters like a moon surface on the bottom of this thing when it passed over, and when it shot away, it was like a flying rock that didn't make any sound, and it took off like a freaking jet, and then it banked. And then it came back, and then I could see that there was a city built on the surface of this thing. These odd buildings and power. It had these glowing blue power lines stretched off around this thing. And then we started taking still frames of it. And I've seen there's 4 different creatures on top of this freaking craft. And one of them is a damn insectoid alien that's like 40 feet tall. And if you've never seen this picture, you've got to check it out. You got to go to Ronny Dawson on Google and look at this thing, and this thing is it kind of looks like a T-Rex, except it's got eyes, it's got a different kind of a head, and it's got arms that come out of its back instead of how a T-Rex didn't have any.
It's kind of an orange colored, like red colored.
Yeah, it's kind of red colored. Yeah.
Yeah, that image I'll put the link in the chat room right here.
And then you can see from the direction of where one of the lights was on the surface of the thing, it cast a shadow on its own body. Its arm does. And it's not a great quality picture because it's of a moving object at night taken with a cell phone.
I've seen it, and it's really creepy.
Good. I think it's pretty good.
I've seen it. I've studied all his pictures, and it looks like some kind of big, maybe praying mantis, that huge freaking thing. It looks like some.
This thing rises above the surface of that craft.
What do
it
they
has
call
to be
it?
40 feet tall.
It looks like the queen of some insect thing, and she's pumping out babies in the middle of this big, huge spaceship thing. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know.
This has to be the mother of all praying mantises.
Yeah, I think it's the queen.
Yeah, it has to be the queen because it's giant. I mean, this thing, if it was here on planet Earth, it could stand outside of your house. It could stick his arm into your window and pull you out.
Like, I was wondering, does anybody know, it's praying mantises, are they sort of like ants? Do they have a queen, or are they what are they like?
No, they're not group. They're not a group.
No.
They're single. They run in singles.
Okay, so they just have a mate. There's just
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
Well, I showed the image to a zoologist, and he said that he looked at it and he said it's nothing I've ever seen.
Well, maybe
He
it's
said,
like a big
nothing
ant
on Earth
thing.
that looks like that.
Maybe it was an ant sort of thing then. It looked to me like a big, huge queen. This thing was scary looking. If that's what it really is, like really, the shadow of it looks like some kind of weird insect, huge thing, monstrous, like Godzilla, but
And I've never seen anywhere in the world. I've never seen an insectoid alien caught on camera, other than that. And that footage is part of on top of the mothership that I captured that night. And March the 2nd, 2011 is when I captured that thing. It was 1 year after the Goblin invasion, and because they came back, and I thought, shit, they're coming to get me this time, and it was a wow. I wish the whole world could have been there to see that this thing do the flyover, man. It was freaking amazing, man. I mean, this thing, when I seen that it wasn't going to take me, and I was going to be staying here on Earth for a while, and this thing banked, and then it took off at a 45-degree angle and went from about 2 seconds from being a huge craft flying over the ground to be a dot moving through the stars. I was cheering like a high school girl invited to the prom, man. I was jumping up and down, waving my hands, going, freaking amazing, man.
So are you still doing? One of the first thing that comes up when you Google your name is UFO Buster Radio. Is that something you're still doing, that you're involved with, or?
Yeah, actually, I'm doing a show on there tomorrow morning. We're gonna do an interview there tomorrow morning, and I'm still part of the UFO. It's UBR Truth Seekers group on Facebook. I think there's about 185 of us now, and we post all sorts of UFO stuff there. And so, yeah, I'm a pretty big part of that little group there. I won the Super Sapien Award last year. So it's a little trophy for the ever prolific poster on the website.
There you go.
So we get out there, we scour the web for UFO stuff and post it to the Facebook group there. It's a pretty cool little group.
Man, Donnie, I've got to suggest. Have you seen a documentary? It just came out probably about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. It's called Boarding Benevolent. I'll type that in the chat room. It's called Boarding Benevolence. It was a bunch of documentary footage taken from the Soltech Gathering event over at East City Ranch last year. And the documentary is just cool anyway, but I swear to God, like some of the best film video footage of literal unidentified flying objects is in that documentary. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's free. It's on YouTube. And in fact, I'll pull up the link on YouTube and put it in the speaker chat. But yeah, definitely check that out, because I'd be curious to know, because you've obviously seen your fair share of things, and I know you've taken your photos, and I would love to know if what they caught on footage on video is the same thing that you're taking photos of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
the thing, this thing, it sounds like the craft in the Phoenix Lights. They said they shot up at it and they hit it and they blasted rocks off of it that fell back to Earth. And I'm like, that's exactly what would happen if you shot this thing that it flew over my head. And the fact that I seen the impact marks on it makes me wonder if maybe this ain't the same craft or same kind of craft. I mean, if you shot rockets at this thing, you would blast rocks.
Oh, damn! We're at the top of the hour. Save that thought, Ronnie. You probably need to take a piss or something. We're talking a while, and we'll be right back. a pyramid. Construct a pyramid of love. Construct. And we're back. That was an old song of mine, actually, but it's off an old cassette, so it's a little rough. But that's all I got. It's the only copy I have of it, unless I redo it.
You've got a cassette player hooked up to this?
Yes.
Wow, now that's magic right there.
I got a cassette player. I have a turntable. I can play records. I can do whatever I want. But that was actually automated.
Oh, okay.
That was automated. My bumper music and commercials are all automated now at the top and bottom of the hour. Automatic. I don't have to touch anything. It's preset.
Nice. Yeah.
So that way I can concentrate more on interviewing, and I don't have to worry about all that stupid stuff. And if I want to DJ, then I can turn that stuff on and DJ create like crazy. But when I have a guest, I don't want to have to worry about that, so I automate it.
Yeah,
it's
there you go.
way better. It's way, way better, and it doesn't fuck up. Debbie's asking for cushion eject. Okay, that commercial might. Yeah, yes, it does have cushion eject. My tape deck has cushion eject, but there is another. I got 2 tape decks, and the other one does not. So it's kind of like Willie's. It doesn't have cushion eject. Poor Willie. They don't have cushion eject in on their tape cassette mechanisms in Alaska, I guess. But anyway, I don't know if we still have Ronnie here or if he's gone. Ronnie?
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, no, we got. Yeah.
I don't know how much time you got left. That's the thing. I know you got to get up early.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah. So,
well, maybe you do.
You got any? I'm going to smoke a doobie. It's legal here.
Oh, that's dude! I totally forgot. You guys pass it out there too. Congratulations!
Yeah, it's totally legal all across Canada now. We can smoke all the pot we want.
I can't wait for 10 years until I'm allowed to come to Canada.
10 more fucking years.
But I've got California now. So.
Well, you have to. I guess you got to be over 18, eh?
Well, you've also got to not have a shitty record.
Now what else?
That's the main thing. But me and Wolfman have planned my smuggling over there.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
We've got a whole plan.
Yeah, we're gonna switch. We're gonna do the switcheroo. I'm gonna go down with some fishermen on my side, he's gonna come down with some fishermen on his side, and then we just jump boats.
Just throwing some
and
gear,
then I'll give him my ID, and he gives me his, just for a little while.
Yeah, and that you really look alike.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just, I'll shave.
Whatever.
I'll shave.
Okay. Sure.
That might be necessary.
Yeah. Might be necessary to have your plastic surgery too, probably.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a tad.
I mean, at some parts of that river, though, you can almost pole vault over that thing.
Oh, I know.
So,
if you go down.
Get your pole vault out.
If you go down to Detroit, man, you can skip across real easy here and there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Across the
put up a padded landing on the other side. I'll fling myself over there.
Oh yeah, we could do it that way. With anti-gravity.
Yeah. Just get one of them. What they call them, trebuchets. And you just put you on one end. And
I'll tell you what. I got it. Gigi, we'll have everybody donate for like a fund where we get a whole bunch of drones, and
the Fling GG to Canada.
and we'll just
Yeah.
we'll put like fish hook and little fish hooks and string on them, and then hook it all to your clothes, and maybe a couple in your skin here and there. You'll probably like it, and then and fly you right across.
Oh,
what do you think?
I'm so down, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to let's go back to you got any questions for Ronnie? We're just beating around the bush here. I got a question for Ronnie. When those little about your Bigfoot sighting, we never told him about that.
That's right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the thing about it, when I went to Roswell UFO Festival, I was shocked at when I was talking to the people, because I figured it's pretty rare to see a UFO. It's got to be pretty rare to see a Bigfoot. But I was surprised at how many UFO people had Bigfoot sightings as well. And I was like, holy shit, there may be some kind of connection there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've seen one or not, but I thought I did see a hand, like a big hairy hand that reached way up in a window that no way that a hand could reach up in that window. And I don't know, but I didn't think we had Bigfoot around here. But when I was a kid, I did see a big hairy hand, and I seen a hairy face looking through a window once too. But I don't know. And when you were hunting, right? When you saw it out there?
Yeah, we're actually we trap out here. I'm kind of in the northern hill country of Texas, and we do a lot of trapping out here. And I was back in high school. That's how we kind of made beer money and stuff, was to go out and run the traps during trapping season. And I had a good friend of mine. His granddad owned or managed or run cattle on a large section of land out here in some rugged country back over here, and we were excited that we were going to get the trap on it. And so we didn't have a whole lot of traps because we didn't have a whole lot of time. But the thing was that I'd run the traps I'd get up early in the morning when it was still dark, and I'd go off into the forest. And if there was a skunk, if you caught a skunk in a trap, I'd shoot it. I wouldn't take it out. I would just shoot it, and it'd be dead all day. And he'd come by in the afternoon, and he would bait the traps out, and he would take the dead skunks and stuff out of the trap. So, and if we caught anything during the night, I would shoot it, and then I would load it up, put it in the pickup and stuff, and then we would skin it after school and stuff. So, but we weren't catching as much as we should have been, and it was weird because you'd think that with where we were at and just weird stuff, like there would be sticks, like somebody had triggered the trap, or there would be an animal's leg that was like not chewed off. It looked like it was ripped out, like another animal had grabbed it and ripped it out of the trap, and it'd be like a leg in the trap, and it wasn't like it'd been chewed off. It's like another animal had grabbed it. But this is mountain lion country, and there's coyotes, and there's all sorts of stuff out there that could have done that, and we were frustrated that we weren't catching what we should have been catching. We were losing a lot of animals. And so one weekend we decided we're going to go up there. We're going to change the location of some of the traps and stuff like that. So it's on a weekend. We're not in school. So we're up there. We're changing the location on the traps to see if we can do better and stuff. And we decided that since we're up there, we had two 22 automatics, which they hold about 22 shells, but they're not a big gun. They're more of a varmint gun. We both had automatic 22s with us, and we decided that there's this little pond up in the middle of nowhere, and we were up there. We were shooting some frogs and stuff, and there's a little pond up there that we hadn't been to, and we thought, man, we're going to go up there and shoot some frogs. But when we started driving the pickup up there, the little road that was washed out to it was washed out so bad that we had to park the truck and walk up to this little pond. And so we got the guns, and we're walking up to the pond, and we get up to this little pond, and there are little frogs, just thousands of them. But there ain't no big frogs. There's no big bullfrogs around. There's just these tiny little frogs everywhere. And we're like, where are the big frogs at? And then all of a sudden we heard a freaking roar. And I mean, it was a scary. I've never heard anything roar like this. We heard this roar, and then all of a sudden you could see something. It looked like Mighty Joe Young pushing his way through the tree. You could see something moving through the freaking trees, and tree limbs breaking, and tree limbs snapping, and you could literally see this thing moving through the trees. And I was like, "Holy shit, man! We heard a roar. We seen something so big moving through the trees that and." So I dropped down to one knee and I had my gun loaded and I said, "Stay, man." My buddy was like, "Do we fight it? Do we run from it? What do we do?" And I'm like, stay, man. Get your gun. You ready? Get ready. You know. So we're watching this thing come down toward us, and it stops behind one tree. And
you shot it right in the fucking head, right?
It's an evergreen tree. It's not that, they're skinny on the top and they're fat on the bottom, and up about 8 feet, you can see this I could see this bitch. It's like, this bitch is like 4 feet wide, and it's got shoulders that look like a freaking football.
Yeah,
player.
but everything's bigger in Texas. It was probably just a gopher.
Who knows? Who knows what?
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Anyway, this thing is moving left to right, and I could see what looked like arms. I could see what looked like shoulders, and if I could just get a head look, see what the frick this thing is, because at 8 feet tall, it's 4 feet wide, and I don't know any animal here in Texas that fits that description. And this thing is moving left to right. And years later, when I seen that Gorillas in the Mist movie, it sent cold chills in my back because that's exactly the way this son of a bitch was moving.
Wow, that's a obscure movie to reference there. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I seen that movie, it scared the hell out of me because there was a picture of a big gorilla, and it was hiding behind a tree, and it wouldn't put its head in clear view, but it was moving left to right on each side of the tree, looking with one eye at a time, and that's exactly what this son of a bitch was doing. And anyway, and I'm thinking, man, this son of a, do we shoot at it? What the frick we do? And my buddy who had the gun, he said, "I'm going. I'm out of here." He took off running with his gun, and I'm going, "Holy shit!" Now it's just me. I've lost 50% of my fighting force here because he took off running for the truck, man. And I'm going, "So no, man, no, stay!" God. And he took off running, and I'm going. So now I'm here by myself looking at this freaking thing, and I'm not knowing whether to shoot at this damn thing or what, but I'm sitting here waiting for this somebody to come out behind this tree, and I'm fixing to unload on it. And anyway, I got to thinking, well, my buddy, he's scared. I don't know how scared. I don't know if he's scared enough to leave my ass in the forest with this thing. And I'm thinking, this damn 22 is feeling smaller all the time, man. And this thing is big. And I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna go back to the truck. He's so damn scared he may just take off and leave my ass out here with this son of a bitch. And I thought, oh my God, man, I don't want to be in that situation. So I started backing out there, and I kept spinning around, making sure this thing wasn't going to chase me. And then all of a sudden, the trees off to the side of me rustled, and it scared the hell out of me. And I spun around with my gun, thinking I was fixing to be flanked or something. And it scared the hell out of me. And then I kept backing out some more, looking down there to see if this thing was going to give chase. And then all of a sudden, the trees made a hell of a noise again. And I looked this time, and there was a freaking huge rock came rolling like something was throwing this damn near a damn bowling ball size rock, and it hit in the tree and it rolled out onto the path where I was. And I was like, holy shit, this son of a bitch is throwing rocks. And I mean, not little rocks either. It's big rocks. And I seen that, and I just turned and broke and ran. And I was hoping I'd see that damn pickup that my buddy was in. And luckily, when I run on down the hill a little ways, I still seen the pickup there, and I was waving at him, man, hold on, don't leave, man. Because whatever the hell that son of a bitch was big, and it was big and throwing rocks, huge freaking rocks, man. And I damn sure didn't want to be left in the forest with that something. And man, I quit telling people that story a long time ago because nobody would believe it. Everybody just, it could have been this, it could have been that, And I just quit telling people. But I did a radio show here a while back, and they had a Bigfoot guy on there, and I was going, no, I got a story that I ain't told anybody that story in 20 or 30 years.
Wow. Yeah, no, there's some real, people, especially people that don't, like you live in the middle of the middle of Texas, quite literally. There's when you go out in the wilderness like that, and I don't even know if some people in the audience have a clear reference to something like that. There's, we like to think that we've explored everything. Like, yeah, every forest, we know what's there. Like, no. There's a lot of areas that people don't really go, and we really don't know what's there. I mean, look at the Congo, for example. Nobody's ever been to the center of the Congo, and if they have, they never came out to tell the tale. That's why you have these theories of dinosaurs out there, and these there's some footage of some 8'5" apes that we don't know what they are. They look kind of human, but they look kind of apey, and there's definitely, I grew up in a little forest town northeast of Houston called Kingwood. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's in the Huffman, Kingwood, Porter area. And there's a lot of local legends about what we could best, and I've heard them too. They sound like apes, like ooh, ooh, ooh. Like there's something out there, but obviously they're not accounted for because we're not supposed to have any sort of ape or chimp-like things out there, but people hear them all the time. And I wouldn't be surprised if that same kind of thing is going on out there in your part of Texas.
Wait, come to find out, it wasn't the first Bigfoot sighting on that property. Once we told the rancher, he told us that one of his sons, who was raised down in there and hunted all the time and stuff, was deer hunting down in there, and he heard something behind him, and he spun around with his gun, and he said there was a huge creature and it was reaching for him, and he pulled a shot off, and he didn't hit it solid, but it scared him so freaking bad he just pulled the trigger, and he shot the damn thing, and it scared the living hell out of him. And he told the old man, and the old man went down the next day, and something dies down in there. The buzzards will tell you where it's at. So the old rancher went down there the next day, and right where he had seen it, he seen a blood trail, and he followed the blood trail, and he said it went to a sandy creek bottom over there, and he said he seen the strangest tracks he'd ever seen, was what he described. He didn't get no mold or anything like that. He just said it was the strangest tracks he'd ever seen. And he said he didn't see any buzzard circling where anything had died. And he said he don't know what it was, but he had shot something. And but I was determined, all right. I tried to get my buddy, said, let's get bigger guns and go back. Come on. And it scared my friend so bad, he didn't want to go back over again. Now, I'm still trying to do some trapping out here. So I'm out here at night at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning when it's still dark. I'm out here. Checking I didn't go out there anymore until daylight came up. After that, it's like I gotta have daylight before I'm still walking around out in the sun. But now, because before I was confident that the most dangerous thing in the woods is me with a gun. I'm not so sure about that now. So I wouldn't go out there anymore until daylight came. And the other old guy that had shot the thing, he wouldn't ever go out there again. He went out there to help the old rancher pull a calf a time or two, but he never deer hunted out there again. He would not go out there camping or spend the night or nothing after that encounter. And I finally got my friend to go back. Said, let's go back. It took me about 3 days to talk him into it. And this time we took some deer rifles with us, and we went back up there to check around. And where this thing came from, there was like an overhang where the rocks had made it's almost like it wasn't a cave, but it was an overhang where it was like a place to get out of the rain. Yeah. And something had carried branches off in there, and it's like mesquite limbs, and had meticulously picked every thorn off of them and stacked them several feet thick. And it was almost like a mattress in this little overhang. And I was looking, I didn't really see a whole lot of hair or anything on it, but I was amazed that you couldn't find a thorn in the whole mess of it. Like something had taken the time to pick a thorn off every mesquite limb that they had stacked in there. And at one point where we had heard a branch break, there was a branch broke off, and there was some small branches, and it was like it took the smaller limbs and just twisted it like a baseball bat into a tight circle. And like this thing had made itself a bat after it had roared at us. It broke a limb off like it was carrying it, and then it had dropped it. And I was telling this story to one of the UFO guys. I wish I could remember his name now, but he seen me later at the festival, and he said, he flagged me over, and he said, did the limb you find look like this? And he showed me a picture of a limb that looked almost identical to what we saw, where it was like it broke a big limb off and it had taken the small limbs on it and just twisted them till it made like a bat.
Right. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah. And that would probably result, if you fucked around with him a little bit longer, I would have to imagine you may get bonked. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I think you were in for a bonking. Yep.
Yeah. But, you know, after that encounter, we started catching things in our traps. It's like we had scared it out of the area or whatever. Man, we started catching all sorts of animals in our traps.
Yeah, fucking Bigfoots. They always get in the way when you're trapping. Yeah, I know. You should probably shoot them. I would have shot that thing. Whoop. Or pissed on it. Yeah. Shot it and pissed. Yeah, shot it and pissed on it.
Yeah, you want to make sure the piss off you shoot, because, you know, just to really make sure it's down.
Alrighty. Yeah, and you know what I think we did was we interrupted your other something before the last top of the hour. I can't remember what we were talking about before that.
Well, I think we went to this one pretty good. And
Yeah.
there's...
But we never did finish that story. He was on something. You were on a train of thought, and it smashed. It was like...
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I can totally relate to your stories because I grew up in a similar, you know, not only in Texas, but out in kind of the middle of nowhere of Texas.
Yeah, you used to you were probably like one of them goblin things. And you broke into people's houses and got in a lot of trouble.
Well, I mean, we did
lasered
that too,
people and.
No, I mean a little bit. No, but we, you know, there are some, you know, just because there's houses next to a forest, doesn't mean that people know what's all in that forest, or even in the hill country.
Oh no, man! Like, yeah, when you're near a forest, you don't know what's in there. You don't. You can't see in the.
So
I've
so
known it.
people,
Dude,
you know,
I had on the farm one time. This was in Ontario, by Lake Erie, the tobacco area where, you know, but it's pretty boonies, like Port Burwell. It's pretty boonies. This white panther creature, it was albino white, slinking along, big, huge thing, came out of the corner of our small little woods and went and took a drink out of our irrigation pond. And we're only maybe, not like less than a quarter mile away. We could see it pretty clearly on the flat ground. And yeah, it was slinking on. It was not a dog. It was a big cat. Albino panther is what I'd have to say it was, or some kind of fucking alien thing. There's not supposed to be
a mountain lion.
Debbie brings up a good point. Anyway, keep
there
going.
ain't no mountain lions. There's nothing big cats around this area. Only bobcat. That's it.
So, okay, I was going to ask you earlier, Ronnie, because we lived by around a bunch of skunks, but they were never really our targets. You know, they just kind of seemed to be doing their own thing, and we were doing our own thing. But I would imagine if you're going to, if you shoot a skunk, doesn't it, release all of its horrid funk once you shoot it? Wouldn't you not want to shoot a skunk?
You have to shoot it in the head. And if you shoot it in the head, it won't spray. If you shoot it anywhere else, it will spray.
Yeah.
They'll get into your traps, and you have to get them out of your traps, and you don't want to do that until the skunk's been dead a while and had a chance to.
That's nasty.
Yeah. And yeah.
But
Okay.
you have to realize back then, this was back in the 70s, and everybody was wearing fur coats, and fur trapping and fur wearing was really big. It was really big into the culture at the time, you know. Now, if you wear a fur coat, people throw blood on you and stuff like that. But it was a different time back then.
Bad, man. Shooting poor innocent skunks.
Skunks are pretty cool as long as they don't, they're typically
you cut
at least
As long as you don't get in your backyard and get in a fight with your dog or spray on the side of the house.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the skunks around us were pretty, we saw them, they saw us. And
Yeah,
we
I
didn't fuck
walked
with
right by a skunk actually the other day on the road, and it didn't do nothing. It just walked its way, and I walked my way. That's true.
Yeah, they're pretty chill little animals.
But
really.
how do you stop? How do you stop skunks from smelling?
You just
cut off the nose.
You cut off the nose, yeah. You cut off the nose.
And I think skunks and raccoons, they both get a worse rap than they deserve. They're actually pretty chill.
Raccoons are just kind of clever. That's why they get in trouble. But yeah, some skunks, and there's different kinds of skunks too. Like
Okay, but have you ever seen a 6 foot tall skunk
fighting.
from hell? Have you ever seen a 6 foot tall? I've seen a 4 foot tall rabbit, all black, slick looking, looked like it was covered in black tar. Jumped right out in front of me. Must have jumped 25 feet or something. Boom! Landed in front of me, and it was all muscular. And
This is the Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show.
From the fourth dimension. Did I forget to mention a thing? She could sing with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice. It'll sound like angels coming from the sky. She could sing. She could sing. She was a groovy little baby with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice. That's right, all right, dig it, yeah. From the Wolfman, sing it out now, yeah. Here we go. Groovy little baby from the fourth dimension. Did I forget to mention one thing? She could sing. Groovy little baby with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice that is. She could sing like an angel. Coming from the sky, she could sing. Groovy baby with a fifth dimensional ring in a voice that is, yeah, come from the sky. You're here with Dave Cruz and Wolfman Mike, and please listen to our new network.
KTLK DB The Fringe.fm.
All right. Everybody come on out and listen. And we're going to have a lot of fun now because we all joining forces. All right. And this is going to be where the disclosure comes from. Yeah. Flying high, climbing inside. Up into space she goes, magic bells on her toes, and Heather, Daisy and Rose. Every flower of Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic. And we are back. Yeah, that was me again, and that was a request from Debbie. She wanted to hear Jasmine Flower. She calls it butterfly wings. And we are back with Ronny Dawson and Gigi, and who else is here? Liana, the lioness.
Oh,
I'm also here.
Oh, and we
Like
still
the
have Dee.
translator.
Right on.
Yeah.
Here.
Who's got?
By the way, real quick, never quite got the email from Rachel. If you still want that free game, definitely email me.
Okay.
I mean, I'll take it. She doesn't want it.
Yeah, but you can't. Okay, yeah, I'll get. But you were the guest on the show, so you kind of, you know.
Okay. Yes, that makes sense. Never mind.
I just spilt my whole bowl of weed. That was like my last bowl, too.
Well, you'll just have to go clean that up now.
I don't know. I've got some resin in here. I'll just get that.
Okay.
So Ronny is still here, right?
Ronnie, are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. Who's got a question?
All right. I wanted to ask Ronny if he could like meet an alien human hybrid, would he?
I don't think my wife would allow that.
Like medium rare, or you know?
What do you mean?
I mean, these creatures they seem intelligent. They were beautiful. I mean, both of them were very attractive, but I mean, humanoid, but somewhat different. But yeah, I could see where, interspecies mingling could happen. I mean, they certainly were attractive. I don't know. They kind of seemed like maybe they weren't particularly fond of my wife for some reason. So they had that women thing going on, or that's just kind of the way it felt like. They weren't particularly fond of the women, maybe, or my wife in particular.
Yeah, well, it might have been a frequency thing. Aliens are pretty sensitive to that.
But I don't know. It was weird. 'Cause when it come, I didn't tell you how to. I was okay. I'm outside my body, and it comes time to leave, and it was like, well, how do I get back? How am I going to get back in there? And they said, okay, we'll just say, come over here and just lay on yourself. Lay on yourself and you'll go back. And they said, thanks for the conversation. We relayed what was said here to the others, and we said our goodbyes, and I laid on top of my body like I was screwing myself in the butt, screwing myself in my own butt, and I just sat there on top of my body and nothing happened. And I'm like, okay, so then I sat back up and I looked at her. I said, okay, it ain't working. I'm like, oh shit, I'm stuck. I'm stuck here now. And she said, okay, stand back up. She said, okay, leap onto yourself, And so I stood up beside the bed and I leaped onto myself. And this time it felt like I fell 5 feet. I mean, my stomach just tripped out, man. And it felt like I fell 5 feet. And as soon as I hit, I woke up in the bed, and I woke up in the bed sitting up, and I looked exactly where they were standing, and I couldn't see them. And I figured, man, this just happened. They should be standing there. But here's the thing: the lighting in the room was identical to the way it looked just seconds earlier. I mean, the light coming in around the windows was the same. The light shining in from the kitchen was the same. The lights coming underneath the door was the same. The lighting of the room was exactly the same as it was when I was having the conversation with them, and I was standing beside the bed fixing to jump onto myself. The room looked absolutely identical to the way it looked just seconds earlier.
That makes sense.
And they told me, I said, am I going to remember any of this? And they said, yeah, you'll remember everything, because this is not a dream state. This is an alternate reality. You'll remember everything. And when the people of your world meet the people of our world in this place, they will remember everything that was said. You know, they have 100% complete memory of what went on, and I remember everything. You know, every detail that we did to this day. You know, I've never had a dream that vivid that I could remember to that with detail to that degree. And the lighting of the room being exactly the same as I had seen it when I was standing there talking to him. You know, and my wife walking through the room. My wife was dressed like in the same clothes that I seen when she walked through the bedroom. You know, everything. There was walking through the glass striking my face into place, the stud in the wall being in the position it was in. All this made me confident that this was not just a random dream, that this is something that really happened. This is real extraterrestrial contact between a person of Earth and somebody from somewhere else.
Well, it's interesting that their method of choice for you to get back into your own body is by fucking yourself, essentially.
I just laid on myself, and I figured I'd be sucked into it, but it didn't happen like that. And I was like, it ain't working. So it was like they weren't really good at it. When they pulled me out of my body, when they first pulled me out of my body for the conversation, I slipped out of their grasp once.
Like that?
Yeah, it was like they were stretching my arms trying to get me out, and I slipped back. And I remember it was like, damn, that was a weird mini dream. It was like two chicks pulling on my arms, and then I slipped out of their grasp and fell back to sleep.
Just look at that.
And then next thing I know, okay, the same dream again. They're grabbing me by the arm, and they're trying to pull me out of my body, and they're saying, and one of them says, "Help us." And I thought they were helping me crawl out of a manhole or something. I'm like, okay, I struggled to get loose. I didn't know I was being released from my own body. I just thought I was stuck in something, and these girls were trying to help me. And I remember struggling to get loose and finally getting loose, and then thanking them, going, thank God you helped me get out of there, you know. And then they immediately started apologizing. We're sorry for disturbing your rest, and we need to have a conversation. And I'm going, what are you talking about? And they say, well, you know, we're from another world, and we needed to have a conversation with you, and we pulled you out of your resting body. And I turn around and look, and there's my body laying in the freaking bed. Okay, and the weird thing is, I'm not standing beside the bed. I'm standing knee deep in the freaking bed. So the first thing I do is I look around at these two chicks and realize that they're probably not from here. And then I wanted to walk up to my own body and look at myself in the face. And when I tried to take a step, I fell forward, and both of them grabbed me like I was drunk or something, trying to hold me back up. And I put my hand down to catch myself, and it struck my own body just below the kneecap. And I could feel my hand resting on the bone on my leg. And then all of a sudden it was like my leg broke, and my hand went through my freaking leg. And then I could feel the softness of the mattress underneath it. And that freaked me out. And then I looked down and realized that my legs are missing. The bottom, from the knee down, my legs are missing because it's embedded into the bed. And I'm like, holy shit, my legs are missing. Holy shit, I broke my own leg. Holy shit. And then they grabbed me, and they're walking me out of the freaking bed. They got me by the arms, and they're helping me get out from underneath the bed. And they're telling me, you know, and I'm going, holy shit. Finally, I get out of the bed. And then they tell me, they start saying, you're all right, you're okay, you're all right. You know, see, you can move through solid matter here. This is, you know, we're from another world, and this is a place that we've been watching you from. And part of what they said, you know, we found your world back. It said atomic testing sent light and radiation off one of their planets, and they investigated it, and they found us. And that's how they found us. So, and they admitted that they had been attacked through an interdimensional portal, and they thought that this was a place that may have staged the attack.
So, Ronnie, have you heard about the war going on the moon right now? Like, have you seen any of the footage from like guys like Bruce Sees All or Crow 777? You seen some of the footage there? The latest footage, you see these things moving around. It looks like they're shooting at each other, and there's explosions and everything. And this is from independent astronomers.
No, I haven't.
Oh, God, you got to check that out, man. You got Check out Bruce Sees All, his YouTube. Bruce Schwartz. He's from Montreal. And he's got some really cool stuff. I can't believe that nobody's looking at it. He's like, it's proof.
Well,
You can't even.
You got to post some links in the chat room if you can. I'd like to see that. And,
it's bloody proof.
And, I've got to say, Ronnie, when you mentioned, you were stuck in something and a couple ladies had to help you out, that really reminded me of a really late night I had in Vegas one time. So I can totally relate to that.
Yeah, it's
what goes down in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Sometimes, yeah.
Unless it comes home with you on the airplane.
Exactly. There you go. Now, hold on, Wolfman. When you said Bruce, Bruce who? What's his last?
Just look. His last name is Schwartz, but if you just Google Bruce Sees All, those 3 words, you'll find him. And it'll just pop up as YouTube. So that's all you need to know is Bruce Sees All.
Oh, yeah, I've got it right here. Okay.
And you'll find it right away as soon as you type that in and Google.
Oh, yeah, he just posted something up a couple hours ago. Yeah.
And, it's going to blow your mind. It doesn't look like much of it, but when you think about it and you think about the scale of how far it is away and what's going on there, like the one that he just has a little while ago, I think it's last week or his second last one probably. It looks like a battle going on. There's explosions, big explosions, little particles moving from big, huge objects that you can't make out. They just look like a blob, like a white blob. Could be a spherical. I mean, I would say more saucer-like shaped, but huge.
Did you guys see the? They took the first actual photographic image of a black hole the other day. Did you guys see that?
I haven't actually seen it. I was heard about it on the news, but I think I missed the picture when they showed it.
Oh yeah,
I didn't see the picture. I heard about it though.
Yeah, that's a blurry image of a black hole. The same guys who've been giving me shit for my blurry UFO pictures show us a picture of a blurry black hole.
Yeah,
and
honestly,
call it amazing.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Ronnie. Yep. They give you shit for your blurry pictures. Yet, what does NASA show us? They don't even hardly have any pictures of the Earth, really, like that are decent, that haven't been doctored up.
They don't have any pictures of the Earth. That's the first thing. The second thing is, but here's the thing about the black hole is, first of all, it's taken from like 8 or 9. It's a collaboration between 8 or 9 telescopes around the world. So essentially, they all combine together to make a telescope about the size of the circumference of the globe. And that's why they're able to get this image. But even though I saw the article, and first thing, like I had to ask, I had to pause. I'm like, wait a minute, who can I ask that can vet this? Like, before I get excited about this, let me vet this quick. And so I asked Billy Carson. It's like, hey, man, did you see this? Like, do you think this is legit? And Billy Carson told me, like, yeah, no, I've been following all these different observatories that participated in this image being developed, and he's been waiting for it for over a year. And he was like, yeah, this is actually legit. So I would have to kind of take his word on that. But I definitely had to second guess it for a second. Like, okay, this could easily be they could have taken a photo of like a lamp and just zoomed in 100 times and made it blurry. Like, that could easily just as well be the photo. You know what I mean? But
how are you supposed to take a photo of something that sucks light in all around it? It's just going to look like a black spot. I don't see what you're taking.
Here, I'll pull up the image that they released. Now, I'm not vetting it myself. I'm just saying I had it vetted by other people. I'm not totally sold on this yet, but I'll try to pull up the article and put the link in the chat room so you guys can see the image that they officially released at the very end.
Okay, well, I'm still not off the topic of, you said they don't have a picture of the Earth. What about Google Earth?
No, Google Earth is a bunch of composite, like.
But can't you
it's
zoom out?
literally-
Can't you zoom
it's-
out of
It's all
Google
the
Earth?
satellites.
It's a bunch of composite images.
I know
put
it's a
together.
bunch of fucking satellite pictures,
It's
but
like the
can't you
satellite.
zoom out on Google
like
Earth?
Like telescopes do, only instead of pointing
They-
it out, the satellites are picking it up. And they just,
So at
put all
least
the
we're taking
movements
pictures
together.
as far
Bullshit.
up as those satellites go.
It's bullshit though, because here's the thing: is if we've been to the moon so many fucking times, how come they never stopped to take a fucking picture of the Earth? Not once. And when you ask, because NASA releases those images, those official NASA globe images, but when you that one guy, what's his name? He got interviewed by multiple people. It kind of became an infamous thing. But during these interviews, he was saying they're asking him, are these images photoshopped? And his response was, yeah, it's photoshopped, but it has to be. Well, wait a minute. No. Stop right there. What do you mean it has to be? If we're out there in lunar orbit, why hasn't anybody just stopped and take a photo? Like, who cares if the lighting is too bright? Like, who cares if it just shows up as a big ball of light? Just show us a fucking picture. Nobody has ever done this. China is moon right now, and they're not doing it. So what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
are they?
The only thing we got is doctored up pictures, and it's usually an animated picture or it's doctored up. I've noticed that too. Why aren't it the only stuff in the ISS footage? Some of that looks real.
Dude,
but only some of that looks real, but I don't know if it is or not. I don't know.
And here's the other thing: in these official NASA images, if you really zoom in and you look at the images, they are copy and pasting clouds around the oceans.
And they're copying and pasting.
That's because it's from the satellites, and they're all digital.
Okay, that can happen with digital. Yeah, with digital.
They're all digital. And they do
where it's knitted together.
They have a program on TV about
where it's stitched together. It's a
But
digital
this
stitching.
all goes back to the original question: is why the fuck can't you just take one snapshot of the globe?
I don't know. Take a look. Okay, take a look at the craters on the moon, and you'll see that there's a lot of them that are double duplicates right beside each other. That's kind of weird too. That is not digital stitching because they're just random.
When you compare the NASA images from 2000 and take any other, there's only like 12 images that they officially released. Let's just take a wild example. Let's say take the image from 2000 and compare it to 2002. The globe is the same shape, yet North America is like a whole third bigger than it was in the other one. So which one is it? It can't be both. The country has to be a certain size. It can't be a different size in both images when the globe as a whole is the same size in both images. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And you can take that from image to image from the 70s to now. There's only 12 images that have been released, and they're all full of fuck, if you ask me. And I just I can understand if they want to make it look cool, they want to correct the lighting. I get that.
They try to get all the satellites out of it.
But there's too much fuckery. There's too much fuckery going on, and nobody's ever taken a single photo of it.
I think that Liana's onto something, and I was going to mention that too. They're trying to hide stuff like certain satellites that are going around the Earth. They can't let you see those.
Yeah, if you took a picture what the Earth looked like right now, there'd be satellites galore all the way around.
Yeah, they don't want you to see that.
And
there's space junk.
Around.
Tons of fucking space junk, I'll bet
Not
you.
only that. They don't want a picture of that to go on a globe or anything.
It would look like a dirty piece of shit that they're wrecking.
Yes, it would look like a bunch of Okies lived there, man.
That's a good point. But here's another thing that I think they're hiding. I think that there is land that's not mapped on Google Earth, because if you think about GPS and Google Earth and any map that you pull up on Google, that's all comes from the Department of Defense. They're the ones that created GPS. And so if you think about it, if there was any land on the Earth that they didn't want you to know about, well, who better else?
Actually, another good point. Yeah, you got a good point.
Another continent coming up.
Okay.
That's come up over in New Zealand. So, things are shifting around, and our pole's been slapping back and forth. So, depending on what perspective you're taking it from and, how far away and how close you are, it's going to be, and then when they stitch it together, it doesn't always stitch right together because they're designed to, like anything else, like we do when we look at something and we see a face in there, we're programmed to do that. So they stitch in the pieces. So it doesn't always look anatomically right, especially when they're trying to take out the garbage that's floating around the planet.
Yeah, but you got to look at the example of when they compare.
And they don't want certain satellites, and other countries don't want certain satellites to be known where they are.
Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing here.
Yeah.
Although we're both pointing out different examples, I think we're saying the same thing here. They're hiding something. They're hiding something.
Well, yeah, it's more or less for aesthetic purposes.
What do you think, Ronnie? Do you think they're hiding something?
Oh, I know for a fact they're hiding something.
What do you think?
I don't know what it's going to take from the
I think it's more or less for aesthetic value and like if you're going to show these pictures to kids in school or in colleges and stuff, they got to be able to see those things, not with the blocking of all the satellites and all the garbage floating around.
I think I think it's all of the above.
It is all of the above. It absolutely is all of the above. But here's the other thing is, on the early NASA images, they show.
Oh, by the way, Gigi, we got 5 minutes left. Just want you to know. So.
What do you mean? This whole show ends?
In 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, okay. I will point you to this. Richard Admiral Byrd, the guy that led Operation High Jump, the first guy to go to Antarctica, also little lesser known, the first guy to go to the North Pole. He, in his first national television interview in the 50s, he specifically talks about an area the size of North America on the other side of the South Pole from Antarctica. He's not talking about the south side of Antarctica. He's talking about a whole nother landmass on the other side of Antarctica. And that's rich with resources beyond our wildest dreams. Yet to this day, the whole world has a treaty to where nobody is allowed to go there for any reason. And that's
he also said he went into the Earth.
I mean, it's just there's something going on over there, and they're not fucking telling us, and they're doing a shitty job of hiding it.
Well, originally in his memoirs, he had written about going because he disappeared when he went there, and when he came back, he told them that he had gone. It was a big hole, and he flew into it, and he met the cities under there, in Earth, and when he came back, his memoirs were not they. Basically redacted that shit. Don't you say anything, or we'll mess with you. And that's why all the major countries have a treaty not to go over there.
Yeah, it's because you're exactly right. It's because of what he discovered, and his son published his diary after he died. And what's very lesser known about Richard Admiral Byrd is that once he started talking about this before he died, they institutionalized him. They put him in a mental institution, and which is crazy because he was the most well-respected, explorer of modern history, and they institutionalized him because he was just simply telling everybody what he saw.
Because when when he got back, they did this. He was supposed to. They were gonna go down in New York, down the street, the parade, and everything like that. And they warned him that if he said anything, he'd be taken out in that parade.
Yeah. No, this is. I'm so glad you know about this because most people don't.
I heard several different versions of it, actually on TV, in documentaries and stuff. They touched on it.
Yeah, I mean, it gets really crazy when you look into it, and it's like, and so
I wouldn't doubt somebody like that. And I don't think because when he came back, he wasn't like he'd been out in in Antarctica for as long as he was gone, and he just disappeared off the face of the planet. I mean, his plane, everything, and then suddenly he just reappears with the plane and everything, like he'd just went around the block.
And here's what he said. Essentially, what he said was, "Hey, listen, I ran into some people. Their technology was way better than ours. They told me to tell you this, so I'm going to tell you this." which was basically a warning saying, cut your nuclear shit out. This is fucking crazy what you guys are doing. And that was basically the message that he gave back. And as soon as he...
I agree with him.
they institutionalized the guy. After they trusted this guy for 30 plus years to lead every major expedition from the 20s to the 50s. And then all of a sudden he says one wrong thing and they fucking institutionalize the guy.
Well, especially after being a hero like that, and then just that he's crazy. He made it back from Antarctica, flying the plane back. Obviously he wasn't too insane to do that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's, I encourage everybody to look into Operation High Jump and Admiral Richard Allen Byrd and look into what we're talking about and how it gets into the hollow earth theory and everything else. Really fascinating.
Oh my God.
That'll do it.
We had a lot of fun. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Hopefully, make sure to join us tomorrow on Eric's new show. We gotta put that up somewhere.